Hey guys, and welcome to another King of the Hill with a little bit of a special twist on it. Today we are not allowing legendary lords, so that's any named characters such as, Orion and so forth, whereas someone like the Glade Lord would be completely fine. And boy oh boy do we have a good list of competitors today. In round 1 we have A-Move Hacker up against Noob for Life, and then coming in to try and take that throne we have Consul of Rome, the Undertaker, Stormrunner, Darth Pendragon, and also I'm trying to think who replaced at the end. I believe it is Pacta, who did a nice last second replacement there instead of Ben the Barman, who unfortunately got tied up at work a little bit, but such things do happen. So anyway, without further ado, let's invite in Noob for Life and get him involved. So bear with me, guys. Thank you for listening for that little bit of an intro as well. Better take down the make sure I've taken down the screen block and all that stuff. I was just organising a few things, so played a bit of music in the background for you guys. Apologise for all the clicking noises and all that good stuff. So we have a very, very special announcement going to be coming in as well. I'll probably do it after game 1 and then kind of tout it around multiple times kind of throughout the stream, but it is a big tournament event we have starting next week, and I'll fill you guys in with that a little bit later. Looks like our lads are here. Hey guys. So Blue Phillip, of course, is A-Move Hacker up against Noob for Life here. The blind picks or gents. So the normal way our King of the Hills work, we normally have 7 competitors, and there's 2 goals to try and achieve during the duration of the stream. So, you want to get the longest win streak possible, which of course if you're at the start of the list is much easier to achieve, but you also want to be the king at the end of the stream. So, much easier if you come in later on. So, a little bit of balance back and forth. It is best of 1 Warhammer Cup rules. We'll do no legendary lords this time instead, and normally what will happen is the king will pick a faction and ban 2 until he goes on a 2-game winning streak, in which case he will ban 1. But for our first game, it's just going to be blind picks or gents. So I'll leave it up to these lads to decide. Looks like Noob for Life going in very bold and instantly coming out saying that he is going to be going Lizardmen. Grombrindle, how's it going, dude? Hope you're a good man. So for those who don't know, Grombrindle is Undertaker, and he is one of those players I've played 2 or 3 times and I have been demolished every time. I just can't break through his strong Dowie defences. Yeah, very good player overall. So it looks like we may be getting Troll Country looks weird. Indeed. So normally we start on Troll Country as the first map of all our King of the Hill streams. We're going to switch it up today a little bit just because we're also doing no legendary lords and stuff. Just mixing stuff up. Going to be trying a few maps that I don't normally play on too much. We are using Falcon's multiplayer map recommendations, basically. Remember, guys, no legendary lords. Cool. So it looks like we are going to have Dowie versus Lizardmen. A matchup the Lizardmen kind of notoriously do struggling. Now, there is a lot of answers that they can bring. They've got a lot of cheap AP, and I think it's much more 60-40 in the Dowie favour. Trollhammer Torpedoes just do so much work, so do, Mass Thunderers if you're going for a big onion build, and it can be really devastating up against the force of Lizardmen. Now, I have a Lizardman build, which is pretty reckless, pretty bold, that I've been using on ladder in the last couple of days, getting some really good results with it. And it's pretty insane, and I think it could work up against the forces of the Dowie as well. We're going to keep it a little bit of a secret for now, simply because I'm going to try and use it in a few tournaments perhaps before revealing it to the world. It's Pacta, he will find a way to miss it. Yeah, Pacta, unfortunately notoriously known for missing King of the Hills and so forth, just by a matter of seconds. And he almost did today, but we had a couple of dropouts. So he has very bravely stepped up in the end there to hop in, which is always good to see. So, should be some good fun. Once again, just to go over the list, we have A-Move Hacker versus Noob for Life here in game 1. Then we have Consul of Rome, the Undertaker, Stormrunner, Darth Pendragon, and Pacta, which is a really meaty set of players there, so expect some really good games. Best of ones as well can just go any way, which is always good to see. And I like the nice mix of kind of leveled players you get in these type of events. So I'm just going to double check Discord, make sure we're all good there. Dun dun dun. Nice little koala being popped in my Discord. Love to see it. And make sure the stream's all up and running. Yeah, looks like we're all good to go. And we will pop in. Looks like A-Move is ready. ready and willing to get fighting. We are taking it a little bit easier on streams this week, considering last week we did do a clan war between DBD and Extreme Meme Team, and it went on for about 4 hours and 45 minutes, and I nearly died. So we're going to be doing this stream like usual, and tomorrow we're going to probably do a small hour to an hour and a half stream, probably going to do a best of 5 between 2 competitors, or a Come At Me Bro series where I'll just play some quick battles and stuff, but nothing too intense. And then the week after, we are going to certainly get some stuff up and running. Should be some good fun. So, looks like he's all ready. Have a little sip of my drink. Make sure I'm prepared. We are going to be playing on a Stylian Tomb here. Looks like both players are good to go. So it's a pretty fun map. There's lots of trees, but at the same time, there's a big kind of dip in the middle, which can become a bit of a meat grinder. But I think this matchup, this map in particular, may help the Dowie if they can take a nice defensive approach. But of course, A-Move known for taking pretty off-meta picks in general, and just bringing stuff you do not expect, but making it work. So I always love a A-Move versus Flying Taco matchup, because it's just, you never know what to expect. It's just insanity. Q. Just going to make sure stream's all good on my phone. No screen blockers up, any of that nasty stuff. And we are good to go. So yeah, as I said previously, lots of trees in this back line and some nice hilled formations as well. But a big no man's land centre pocket here where the real fight normally does end up taking place. Looks like in the background as well we have some beautiful ruins and probably a monastery up here, I would assume. A very well guarded monastery by the looks of it. But certainly don't want to get too close to monasteries or anything related to a graveyard when you are in the Total War Warhammer universe. It is normally a scary sight indeed. So any predictions, guys, as we do let the players load in here? Lizardmen versus Dowie. Do you struggle in this matchup, or do you favour one side or the other? I really favour the Dowie. Simply because I like Trollhammer torpedoes, quite a tight formation with longbeards, miners to clear out the red-crested skinks, and maybe a cannon or two to put that long-range pressure on your opponent. And of course, Slayers are always so good as well. I love the format, by the way. Fun stuff. Awesome, man. Cheers, Pactor. You're certainly going to be interested in the event I'll talk about after this game as well. So, for the forces of A-Move Hacker here, we do have a mighty Dowie Lord here. I was actually expecting a Rune Lord, so pretty cool pick here. We do get the Lord roaring here victoriously. Oh no, looks like a tiny bit of lag, but it has subsided, which is all good. And he is completely naked, so we're certainly going to see some wider forces today with much cheaper Lords being picked. Now for the front line, we have the Grumbling Guard, regiment around Longbeards, mixed in with more Longbeards and Longbeards into the sunset. We have 1, 2, 3 units of Slayers, including the Regiment Renowned here, so again, very Slayer heavy, which is pretty decent. They will tear apart Croxagore, all the big nasty monsters and dinos and so forth, and they'll even do damage to Saurus, just not very cost effectively. We have 1 bolt thrower in the back as well to put some long range pressure on his opponent, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gyrocopters up in the sky here, all with brimstone guns, which is some pretty hardcore stuff. And they'll certainly do some crazy damage, which is a pretty mental build indeed. Now for the forces of the Lizardmen here and Noob for Life, in the front line we do have Saurus Warriors, Temple Guard mixed in as well. So Saurus Warriors, Temple Guard, Saurus, Temple, Saurus, Saurus. So quite a large front line there. Quite interested to see the pick of the Temple Guard and how well they do here. They do have some okay AP, of course, bringing those halberds. So getting cohorts with Javelins on one flank, and on the other flank we have a Feral Stegodon. And then in the centre pocket here, we do have 2 Croxagores, a Ancient Salamander, and then for Lord pick, no doubt, Skink Priest with Manticore Summon, of course, Flock of Doom as well, won't do too much damage, but if he's expecting big blob fights, and a Croxagore Ancient, one of the coolest looking models in the entire game, who you basically never get to see, but we'll see how he does today. As the battle does get underway. Good luck, have fun by both players, always good to see. The boy Red Legion, how's it going, man? Hope you're all good, man. Red Legion did make his debut on the channel not too long ago as well, in some really good games in the latest Clan Wars, which has been very successful, so we're certainly going to be trying to do them more. I think the video's up over 500 views, and we'll be trying to do more events as it does go. So an early Manticore Summon does get popped here by Noob for Life. Certainly wants to try and chase away these gyrocopters where possible, as the bolt thrower starting to launch some shots in, just getting some raking shots here alongside the Saurus Warriors. A lot of the bigger dinos being kept a little bit further back in reserve for now. And the gyrocopters, they can simply spread here quite nicely and catch this Manticore unawares and make it rampage and chase them around the map where it's not particularly useful. Looks like more shots are going into the Temple Guard for now, and the gyrocopters also trying to focus down the Feral Stegodon just a little bit. So I'm certainly going to see some bombing runs as well, hopefully. So yeah, here we go. Ferroman Score has now been rampaged. Now this gyrocopter can simply just float away to the corner of the map somewhere, and that Manticore will disappear, getting absolutely zero value. As the more gyrocopters do start to swoop, going to be focused on this ancient salamander, which could be pretty key, as he's pretty good at killing these bunched up tight formations. Noob for Life swears by it that he can make the ancient salamander work, and he's a very good player, so I certainly do believe him. Saurus Warriors do come crushing in here, half caught up on the Longbeards, half going into the Dragonback Slayers. They do some decent work overall in this matchup, but it will be very, very grindy. Looks like Ferroman Score has dropped into the middle here, where some Slayers have managed to pin it in place. And Temple Guard also going up against Longbeards, but Longbeards will hold for so long. Even up against, great weapon infantry designed to kill armor, Longbeards just do not like running away. Crosscut Ancient has popped through the front line on top of the Norgrim's Ironbreakers here as well. Doing some pretty cool moves. Nice to see some of his attack animations coming in as well. Don't often get to see him in action. He's up to 8 kills already as he goes for a nice little swing, cleaving dwarf metal each way he goes. But the gyrocopters certainly dotted around in some nice positions here. A second Ferroman Squad has been summoned now. Is it worth chasing down these gyrocopters, or is it worth simply trying to hop on more key targets? It's a tough decision to make right now, as the Adari formation is getting pretty heavily overrun basically wherever we look. Oh, a little bit of lag, unfortunately, between these two guys there. It does unfortunately happen sometimes, and you get different people connecting across the world and all that good stuff. Luckily, I should be all good, and we've had these guys on the channel before, so I'm expecting it to clear up in just a moment. The gyrocopters are trying to focus down Temple Guard now in reserve, but the Ferroman Score is certainly going to put some nice pressure on those guys and try force them away from some of the key targets. In the back line, the Lord simply just trying to survive here, surrounded by Saurus Warriors, as he tries shutting down some more who are trying to get on top of the Slayers, which isn't a bad pick at all. What Noob for Life wants to do is get the Saurus on top of the Slayers and the Kroxigor on the rest of the army pretty much, and he'll be in pretty good shape. In the front line, Kroxigor Ancient is now starting to take a little bit of a pounding, but he's doing some pretty decent work, up to 11 kills now. The Skink Priest, however, was caught in combat, certainly not where he wants to be, and he is going to be fleeing for the hills. Did get up his Manticore summons though, so nothing too bad. Ancient Salamander firing into the flanks here of the Ironbreakers, doing some okay work. However, the Kroxigor are, they're doing pretty decent, as the Dowie formation is crumbling pretty hard here. As you can see, this pocket on the far distance here has started to collapse, and in the centre there is dinosaurs absolutely everywhere, but to meet them they are forces of the Slayers, who will do very well up against these Kroxigors. Up in the skies, Ferroman Score still chasing away the gyrocopter, but it'll be able to escape relatively easily, and there's still decent ammunition as well across most of the gyrocopters, which is really going to make the Lizardmen suffer a little bit here. But balance power dead even so far. As it looks like we are going to be having a Flock of Doom coming in, just doing extra damage to the Norgrim Ironbreakers and Slayers where possible. Kroxigor Ancient now fighting these Slayers, not where he wants to be at all, but he is equipped with some Saurus Warriors as loyal bodyguard, who should be able to tear apart these Slayers limb from limb. Ancient Sally unfortunately running for the hills here, and we do have an inactive Skink cohort as well. Those guys need to get active and back into this fight. Skink Priest has rallied, but he's not going to be doing too much, to be honest, apart from being a bit of a pincushion for the gyrocopter and the brimstone guns. And the Kroxigor Ancient not doing too bad. Amulet of Quetzal is being popped here as he pops his way through to the back line. Probably wants to hop on top of this Lord now and try and force him off and start breaking the leadership of these Dowie forces. Slayers slowly getting whittled down here, which is really good news, but Dragonback Slayers, still 47 models, is certainly no joke. But do the Dwarves have enough to stop the remaining Kroxigor? We still have a unit here. We have the Feral Stegodon as well. It's going to be tough. It's very, very close so far. Balance of power still dead even, as we see shots raining in from these gyrocopters, who are starting to get pretty low on ammunition. These Skinks certainly need to get active and into the fight. They'll be perfect for trying to take down Slayers, bog them down, and pick them apart one by one. More shots now, starting to focus down the Kroxigor Ancient. Horn of Kygor was popped briefly there to give these guys a bit of buff. And Slayers slow going down. Norgrim Ironbreakers up to 33 kills, but they've been in the thick of the fight in the majority of the game here. The Kroxigor Ancient is going to pull back towards the tree line. There's also some more Kroxigors as well. Not sure what these guys are running, perhaps just trying to escape the gyrocopters and the Slayers for now. And unfortunately, no, the Kroxigor Ancient is starting to run for the hills here. He's wavering. Down to just 419 health. Does go toe-to-toe with the enemy Dwarf Lord here. He's going to pop up, back up onto his legs there. Try and chase after that Ancient as the gyrocopters come in, rocking the camera there for a beautiful cinematic shot. Another Flock of Doom does go down, catching a lot of these Dowie forces. Balance power, the first time in the game, slightly favouring a player, and that player is Noob for Life and the forces of the Lizardmen. He's doing pretty good, so we have 33 Temple Guard here, 21 here, so those guys are certainly going to be quite tough. Crocscores are starting to break all over the field, and unfortunately for him, the Crocscore Ancient as well is being forced off, as some bombs do finally come down, doing decent work up against the Temple Guard in general. It looks like they're going to be trying to break returning Saurus Warriors from the field as well. But ammunition-wise, it looks like they're all completely out, so they simply just have their bombs. He needs to take these Gyrocopters and force off these Croxigor and Feral Stegodon, ensure that they go off the battlefield, and that way he's going to have a fantastic chance of winning here. As you can see, fantastic diligent play, as you expect by A-Move, a very experienced tournament player, taking these Gyrocopters and forcing off this Croxigor Ancient, ensuring he does go off the field completely. Looks like we are getting another Flock of Doom coming down as well, as the balance power does start to equalise here, but the added mobility of all these Gyrocopters is certainly going to do a fantastic job hunting down all these Saurus Warriors and Croxigors and so forth. The Dwarf Lord standing firm as well, going to be hunting down this Skink Priest if he can get his little legs wobbling fast enough. But the Priest simply cackling and jogging away lightly there, but it's a stab in the back for his hard work there. I think this game is going to go in the forces of the Dowie favour. There's still 4 Croxigor fighting here, can certainly lay a whooping down on the majority of the forces that are left for the Dowie. But there's Rumbling Guard here as well, of course encouraging all nearby troops, and so many Gyrocopters. The cycle charging could be really effective, and hunting down returning Temple Guard and so forth I think is going to be a little bit too much for the forces of the Lizardmen. Feral Stegodon certainly not going to be escaping the precision and the precise eyesight there of the Dowie, as the Lord probably going to be able to help mop up what remains, as Croxigor do start to break the field, and the Skink Priest of Beast as well, struggling amongst the more elite and hardcore troops of the forces. Dowie, it looks like he is going to be running for the hills, which I think is going to be game. What else can return? So we do have some Saurus Warriors returning, Temple Guard as well. There's just no way this Croxigor Ancient is going to come back here. And yeah, all the key targets, all the Croxigors and so forth are being chased off, which is good to see. What's up, Pot Map? Hope you're doing good, man. Dwarven mobility, not a phase you say often. That is true. That is true. The Dwarfs did certainly have the mobility advantage here over the forces of the Lizardmen, and they do start to cut down the remaining Skinks, hunt down these Saurus, and there's a few brave troops attempting to return to carry out the plan of the old ones, but it looks like it's going to be a step too far for those brave Lizardmen, and that is going to be game 1 to A-Move Hack. A very close game, really back and forth there, and some really fun play indeed. Love the fact we got to see the Croxigor Ancient as well, someone we don't get to see too often. Now, Temple Guard, I'm not the biggest fan of them in this matchup. They did do decent, and they do have a bit of AP, but I think going a bit cheaper, more red-crested Skinks so you could swarm a little bit easier may have been a better option, especially considering there was no real blasting charges apart from the Ironbreakers, which can normally, really punish red-crested Skinks and so forth. And that poor Ancient Salamander, unfortunately, really tough matchup because of all the Gyrocopters, couldn't quite escape to launch those shots in fast enough. But really fun build coming in by A-Move, and takes the crown for now. I thought it was Warhammer Cup rules somehow, so did I? Hopefully I let them know in Discord. Is there a rule break with the 5 Gyrocopters? Give me 2 secs. Yes, it is Warhammer Cup rules. Thank God, I did say that. So 5 Joes is allowed. It is Warhammer Cup rules. 5 Joes is allowed. I can double check that quickly. No problem. Dun, 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 dun. I'm just going to hop into Discord quick, guys. Just to make sure that we have all the rules correctly. Army limits. Oh, I don't want the picture, I want the link. And we will go down. Okay, here we go. The forces of the dwarfs. Limited to 5. Dun, dun, dun. Ooh. Fortunately, it is limited to 4, I believe. It's 4. I noticed it at the beginning, don't mind. Okay, true champ there. An accidental mistake coming in by A-Move, but a noob for life, happy to take it, so GG, well played. It's 4, just checked. Cool, so up next we do have Consul of Rome, but if you are listening, please do pop in. The password is 123. See if he is here on my friends list. Looks like he is. Cool. And we're going to be switching the map up now to... What map do we fancy? Let's go Doc Karaz. Cool. can see Console Rome has just popped online, so that gives me some time to chat with you guys. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask now, and we should be all good. What are the changes? Are we using generic lords? Yes. So, for this stream in particular, we're doing Warhammer Cup rules still. Everything's still the same. Best of 1, the king picks and bans 2. But you can only use generic lords, so no named lords. So you can't use, Orion or Durfu, for example, for the Wood Elves. You'd have to choose, a basic tree man or a glade lady or so forth. Hey. A move to pick and ban 2. And let's update the score quickly. Before I do indeed forget. Where's the scoreboard? There you are. So a move is up to 1. And New for Life, very well played though. Very close game overall. We do have Consul of Rome. And a Chew Champ as well for letting that small rules dispute slide. Which is perfectly fine. The King of the Hill's a lot more chilled out than usual. Don't know who Timmy Boy was talking to there, but yeah, King of the Hill a little bit more chilled than usual, but of course tournament rules are a little bit different. Only generics, yes, Staff Pendragon, who will be playing later. So, A-Move Hacker does currently hold the crown for now. What win streak can he go on to? I believe the last time he played, he actually won from game 1 all the way down to the end. But up next to try and stop him is Consul of Rome. Then we have Undertaker, Stormrunner, Darth Pendragon, and Pacta. So it should be some good fun. And this is the perfect time, while these guys do decide their armies and so forth, to get up a little bit of a surprise for you guys. So it's going to take up the screen for a little bit, but dun dun dun, if I can find it. Bam! So, Season 4 of Death Before Dishonor will be returning next week on May the 6th. So that is next Wednesday at 4:30 PM British Summer Time. Now, for those who don't know, Death Before Dishonor is a tournament series that we hold basically continuously on the channel. It normally involves 4 qualifiers of 4 competitors, so semi-finals and final, and the 4 champions will meet for a Death Before Dishonor Grand Finals. It's super good fun, and been very successful so far. So you may be wondering, why does this one start so early compared to normal? And that is because we're going to be changing the format slightly for this season. So qualifier 2 and 4 will be the standard. 4 players can enter, and to enter you simply hop on my Discord. It is first come first serve. But for rounds qualifiers number 1 and number 3, we're opening it up on Challenge, the website where a lot of tournaments are kind of held anyway, and it's an unlimited amount of people can enter, with the semi-finals and finals being cast like they usually would a standard Death Before Dishonor. And if you guys want to get involved in this tournament, there is a link in the description just down below, and I will be advertising in all the Discords as well in the future, just probably after this stream. But here's a little opportunity to get in there, get a little head start, and join. So feel free, guys. Any questions on that, please do ask as well. I know that's a bit of an information overload there quickly, but yeah, basically next Wednesday, tournament should be some good fun. Oh, got a message on Discord. Looks like we're all good. Dun, dun, dun. Cool. And hop back in. So, Philip is a move. I love it. I'll take Cult of Sotek, very particular there. Cult of Sotek banning Tomb Kings and Coast. Really 2 good factions to ban in general. Consul Rome is going Empire. So Consul, very good Empire and High Elf player in general. One of the better defensive players in the game. Especially in comparison to a lot of new players. So I'll explain that when we get into the game. I'll have a look at Consul of Rome's formation, and I'll basically break it down, because he's very he's not static when he plays. He's reacts a lot whilst being defensive at the same time, which a lot of new players do struggle with. But yes. So yeah, that tournament should be good fun, guys. Season 4, Death Before Dishonor. We're going to try and make it quite a big event, make it bigger and better than ever before, which should be some good fun. So unlimited people can enter in the qualifier 1 and 3. They'll simply have to join my Discord where they can find opponents, and we'll cast the semi-finals and finals. And me and the legendary Stormrunner has stepped up as well to help out as admins. And we can do all those rules disputes and all that good stuff. But yes. So who's your money on, guys? Do you think Consul Rome can defeat the king? Can he become the Senate and rule the lands? Or will A-Move hold on to his crown just a little bit longer? Who knows? Who knows? Bum, bum, bum. Oh, got some messages. Cool. I will speak to that in a sec. So I just got a message from V Claw. Looks like he is doing a tournament. And I'll try and join that as well. It depends. A lot of tournaments I hold it on weekends, and unfortunately I work weekends, hence why I do tournaments during the week. But it does give other people an opportunity who work weekends to get involved as well, which is always some good fun regardless. So a little sip of my drink. So, Generic Lords, pretty good fun overall. As you get to see a lot of stuff you don't often pick. I think it won't really affect factions like Wood Elves. I think they can become more powerful, if anything, because they normally go with, you know, a Glade Lady or a Glade Lord anyway. But other factions is really going to make stuff, especially people like the Vampires in general. I think quite often pick named Lords, Tomb Kings as well. It'd be interesting to see them bring someone who isn't Ark in the Black. And some people bring a Setcher, but the majority of the time you see Arkan. But for be a fun little format, just to mix stuff up, as we do go through these King of the Hills. I believe this is number 11, and it was one of the starting points of the channel really starting to pick up on subscribers and so forth. Gets a lot of people involved as well, which I always enjoy, trying to get a wide range of experienced and new players into the game, which is always good fun. So tomorrow we'll also have a stream at the same time, 6:30 PM British Summer Time. But I don't know what it is yet. It's probably going to be a small stream because of course we're going to go pretty hard, hardcore next week. Should be all good. Dun. Let these guys do their builds. Just going to check that. As I have a load of messages quickly. Cool. Sorry, just people messaging me in my Discord about the tournament, but I'll get back to everyone once we're finished, basically. Vampire Count's got nice options. They do indeed. They do indeed. Cast Iron, Blood Dragon. Yeah, they have a few. Chaos as well. Oh, Chaos. That'd be very peculiar to see, like a Chaos Lord and a Dragon, perhaps. That's something you don't often see, but I do quite like the Sorcerer Lord. Up on top of Dragon. At least I did, you know, back when I first started playing. I haven't really tried them out in a little while. Dark Elves have fine Lord choices. They do indeed. Dreadlords. I mean, I still think it's going to nerf the Dark Elves because of how strong Malekith and Marathi are. They're so powerful. Dude, Beastmen. Yeah, Beastmen only really have one competitive pick in general anyway, which is, of course, Morga the Shadowgave. But, you know, you can still bring a Beast Lord on a chariot. He can do work. I actually sometimes find running a Beast Lord and 2 Shamans all on chariots can really give you some extra punch and power as well. Do some nice AP shock damage. But here we are, guys. Can't remember the name of this map. Is it Gorzan? Is that it? I don't really plan this map too much, but it should be some good fun. We did actually break it out in our last stream as well. There's a few dips and areas where you can hide cav and so forth, so you can swoop around these flanks while your opponent is slightly unaware. Now, there is a raised platform on this side, and on the other side there's also a few little bits of dotted terrain. There are some ranged parts on this side as well, with a dirty little swamp as well, so Skink's certainly going to be trying to flock to this little cesspool and hide in it where possible. Actually had a really fun replay up on the channel just yesterday, I think, by V Claw that he sent to me. And it was loads of skinks hiding in a swamp, basically dragging their opponents in there. And it's really quite funny. Orcs have Goblin Shaman. Goblin Shaman's pretty good. Goblin Warboss as well isn't the worst. He's pretty cheap and cheerful. Stick him on a squig and give him Tormentor Sword, and he can still do, you know, okay work in general. So guys, I also downloaded Shogun 2. It's currently free at the moment, so Shogun 2 is a total war game. Would you guys be interested in a campaign stream perhaps of that game? I have never played it before at all, but I don't know if it's going to give me the same feeling Warhammer does. There's something about the fantasy setting which is just, it's so good. Anyway, without further ado, let's hop in here. So King Amove coming in with a full skink build by the looks of it, which I absolutely love with his theme here. So skink cohorts and skink cohorts of Javelin for the front line, mixing with cohort of Sotek as well. We have red crested skinks. These guys look so awesome with this colour scheme, the bright orange. That is very cool. Don't get to see this scheme too often. We do have a feral Basildon as well, and it looks like 1 unit of Cold One Spear Rise on this flank and 2 on the other. So certainly going quite hard in cavalry formations. We have 2 Chameleon Skinks as well for skirmishers. These guys, probably the most frustrating skirmishers in the entire game. They poison you, they slow you down, they do decent damage overall, and of course they can't be seen until it's too late. Up in the skies, we do have 3 Pterodon Riders, one of them being the Pohawk Sentinels with a very dangerous rock drop. We have a Slann Mage Priest of High Magic coming in with Tempest, and I believe that's Hand of Glory, but let's just check. So, double check. And it's Soul Quench, that's why we double check. So decent magic missile overall, seen a lot of use recently actually. Shield of the Old Ones and Banishment, yeah. The Soul Quench certainly seen good action by Darth Pendragon as well on stream not too long ago, so it'll be interesting to see how that comes into play. Now for the forces of the Empire and Consul of Rome trying to claim the Empire back for the people. In the front lines, he does have, on the flanks at least, Spearmen. Front line, we do have some Flagellants as well as, I'm assuming, oh, great swords here. Nice, interesting pick. Don't get to see these guys too often. More Flagellants as well, and Spearmen guarding the flanks. So pretty standard stuff there, good overall. We do have the Silver Bullets and some Huntsmen in a deep centre pocket here, which can do decent damage up against large threats and so forth. He does also have some Outriders, looks like one just in the centre, and some Reichsguard to protect them. On the left flank, we have the Royal Outdoff Griffites here, who can be incredibly dangerous in this matchup. Look how awesome their colour scheme is in general. The kind of grey leopard spots look really nice. We also have an Arch-Lector who's going to be doing some good buffs, riding dirty with his Demigryph Bros there. And it looks like that's pretty much it. We also have a Jade Wizard coming in with Regrowth and Earthblood, and Gotrek leading the front lines. And who do we have? Oh yeah, Slam Mage Priest of High Magic here. Gotrek, of course, is a legendary hero, not a legendary lord, so him and Felix you can feel free to bring along. Should be some good fun. So the Arch-Lector comes up with some pretty decent buffs. I don't get to see him all too often, but he's been dropping Grand Soulfire, Grand Shield of Faith, and Grand Hammer of Sigma. He's going to turn these guys into absolute killing machines. So straight off the bat, Payhawk Sentinels taking a little bit of skirmish fire for some Outriders. They certainly want to dip and dive their way out of that. If he can take down this mobility and take apart the Outrider formation, he can certainly pick apart this Empire formation. So, as you can see what I'm talking about with Consul Rome, very nice defensive formation off the bat. He will change and move this as the battle does evolve. A lot of new players will stick to a formation like this and basically get stuck, you know, stagnate in that formation, allowing your opponent to pick and choose the battles they want. So we do have a first rock drop coming on the Reichsguard, doing some okay damage, nothing major here. I probably would have saved that for the great swords in the front line engagements, but it looks like the Outriders are wavering here. And if these guys break and run in a kind of awkward position, perhaps this way towards the edge of the board, then they can certainly be hunted down by the Pterodons. In comes the first magic missile attack onto the Jade Wizard, doing some pretty damn decent damage actually off the bat there. And it's got pretty good long range as well. As the Lizardmen just going to sit back for now and attempt to out-skirmish their opponent. As of course, A-Move, very good at skirmishing. So we do have an extended Earthblood popping down already, healing up these Outriders, the Reichsguard, and the Jade Wizards as well, pretty much to full health, at least as far as they can go. And no, in return, the Payhawk Sentinels have taken a little bit of damage. They've got a nice slow start here, but quite tactical, as both players just feeling each other out a little bit. Huntsman as well, forcing back some red-crested skinks. This Ferobasidon wants to be a little bit careful. He does have quite a thick hide, but the Huntsman do get that nice anti-large, so they do some pretty good work overall. So Cold Spear is contemplating charging straight down the gullet here and onto the middle of the formation, as the Pterodons have now managed to fully envelop the Empire forces here. Looks like a little bit of lag coming on, unfortunately, but hopefully it should subside in just a second. Ferobasidon taking a few shots here, going to be turning and engaging. He's got to be very careful with the Royal Outdoff Griffites so close as well, although Cold Spear can countercharge those guys relatively effectively with support. Javelin's been thrown into the naked fanatics of Sigma here, which is a perfect idea, as of course their armour is 0. And in come the red-crested skinks in a absolute brawling melee here with their giant clubs, going to be hacking limb from limb as the front line does get underway. Gotrek nice and dirty in the centre pocket there. Good luck, have fun in chats, which is always good to see. Nice cycle charging as well, coming by the Cold One Spear Riders, and the Skink Cohort Javelins finding the perfect target so far. Looks like Silver Bullets taking some damage here from the Payhawk Sentinels. And did these guys use their rock drop up? No, not quite yet. So they've still got that. They could pop over here and just finish those guys off. On the left-hand flank, the Reichsguard do have an extended Earthblood cast on, but it's going to be a little bit too little too late, as they do break from the combined force of the Cold One Spear Riders and the Skink Cohorts. These riders certainly going to want to dip back now and fall back as much as possible. Don't want to take any unnecessary charges from the Royal Outdoff Griffites. The Slam Mage Priest, very healthy and fine here. Of course, there is no Flying Lords to hunt him down at the moment. No Karl Franz or anyone. We have some red-crested skinks on the edge of the field who need to get involved in the battle, as these great swords do start taking javelins to the face. Certainly not where they want to be, but there is a ton of micromanagement going on across all the battles, so it's pretty hard to pick up on all the little things. Looks like these poor cold ones are fighting the Royal Outdoff Griffites, which isn't going to go very well. And an Earthblood coming down as well on top of that. We do have Skinks in the back line going to do that constant pepper and damage, trying to bring these guys down as much as possible. There's a very healthy Gotrek, some healthy Great Swords, and the healthy Royal Outdoff Griffites. There's always a chance for the Empire. over on this left-hand side. The mage certainly getting about, kind of swooped around as the lizardmen have dominated this left-hand flank, struggling much more in the centre pocket and on the right-hand side. Though it looks like the Feral Celadon and some Cold One Spear Eyes did manage to finally pop on top of the Huntsman and start to shut these guys down. But the Royal Adolf Gryphites bouncing from combat to combat, hunting these guys down as much as possible. Even the Jade Wizard going to be getting in there and trying to get his hands dirty as the Archlector swoops in and starts dropping all his buffs. Grand Shield of Faith is down, Grand Hammer of Sigma, and this has turned into a very good engagement for the forces of the Empire. See the Cold One Spear Eyes getting absolutely nuked here. They should be able to save the Huntsman as well. Spearmen trying to push back Chameleon Skinks where possible. The Lizardmen is really starting to dominate the map, and this is something you'll see A-Move do all the time. He gets the mobility advantage to your opponent and starts picking away at forces. Pterodon Riders being used fantastically here to force off silver bullets. There's no chance of those guys coming back. And it's really going to be down to this elite core pocket which is left for the Empire. But they have a very healthy Archlector with all that healing coming in as well. They're all out of Gryphites, still 13 models, so they can be healed up relatively effectively. And Outriders as well, trying to lace a few shots in to really help finish off the Feral Celadon. Of course, Gotrek still remains as well. And he can work as a pretty good partner here to the Archlector and these Outdoor Gryphites with all the buffs that are coming in. Those buffs last a long, long time. Feral Celadon has gotten destroyed here. We can see some effective Cold One Spear Rider cycle charging has slowly started to break down even the most faithful of Sigma's warriors here as the Flagellants slowly get picked apart here by the vicious claws of the Cold Ones themselves. And there's a few unbreakable units around the field. Right side with 14 models probably want to swoop into the back lines here and hunt down broken and kind of shattered units, force them off the field for good. And in comes the reserve of Red Crested Skinks as well, trying to saturate into this big mess here. Hopping on top of the Huntsman is a really good pick as they loose one or two more volleys up into the Pterodon Riders. Looks like the Jade Wizard about to receive a magic missile to the face, doing some huge damage there and probably going to break him off the field, which this is like I don't do anywhere near enough. When you see a Jade Wizard on the field or any kind of Lord of Life mage, you should definitely always target him down instead of the enemy Lord. I always get tempted to snipe down Karl Franz and so forth, but you want to get this guy off the field because that healing gets such fantastic value. Looks like a Soulfire did come down, but unfortunately missed all these troops. He was a little bit out of position. Needs to be over here slightly, and that would have destroyed those Skin cohorts. That does a huge amount of damage. But it looks like A-Move managed to pull apart, and the Archlector unfortunately got stuck on one or two Cold One Spear Riders. Very close game overall, though. Very scrappy. It looks like the Life Mage was allowed to come back, but once again he is forced off. And this time the Pterodon Rider is going to make sure he doesn't come back for good. But there's still some pretty elite troops left, and not too much ammo left on any of the skirmishing forces of the Lizardmen. Great Swords return to the field as well, but I feel like the magic missiles coming from the Slan Mage Priest should be able to hopefully finish off the Archlector and Gotrek, but those guys are incredibly tough here, and there's not much left for Lizardmen at all. Some healthy Cold One Spear Eyes are going to do no good up against Gotrek at all. But it can be used to chase off other foes, perhaps break the leadership of the Archlector, and then surround and bog down Gotrek may be the best play here. But once again, the Jade Wizard been allowed to survive here. Tiny miss micro here coming in from A-Move, but it looks like Consortium hasn't yet noticed. He needs to get back here and just start popping heals as quickly as possible. As the Royal Adolf Gryphites do take a rock drop to the face, I believe. And now down just to 6 models, those guys are going to be breaking and certainly need to be chased off the field as quickly as possible. As the forces of the Lizardmen do close in and tighten the noose around the forces of the Empire here. Jade Wizard has returned to the field. Can be dropping some hills, no doubt, before he does get finished off for good. Cold One Spear Rise trying to chase down this pesky guy. He's constantly been returning so far. Balance power slowly starting to go in favour of the forces of the Lizardmen. And Gotrek might even want to make the long trek over here, try and take down the Slan Mage Priest. Looks like he is getting a Earthblood coming down. I mean, he was pretty much full health anyway, but it looks like he was the only thing in range, and he wants to get some last heal off before he does indeed go down. Great Swords fighting back to back with their brothers here, as another shot comes through, aimed at the Archlector here, doing some okay damage. But yeah, these guys are going to get pulled apart probably by the cohort of Sotek and Skink cohort. Slan Mage Priest, though, is pretty slow and squishy in general, and in comes a Banishment. Nice micro here as the Skink cohorts do flee in all directions, catching the Flagellants and the Great Swords. Looks like it's trying to chase the Skinks a little bit, and one or two of those little fellas do get caught in the midst, but nothing too game-breaking or bad. And although they do swarm back into it for some reason, probably trying to escape the Archlector, and take a little bit of damage, and so are these Chameleon Skinks as well. So what turned into an initial good Banishment has unfortunately backfired a tiny bit here. Slan Mage Priest trying to his best to juke and dive out the way of Gotrek. Let's have a little bit of look. So Gotrek 42 speed, and the Slan does have 34, so he's certainly catchable. of course, doesn't want to get isolated at all. What you want to do now is just get Gotrek, whatever remaining troops he has, you know, the Spearmen, the Flagellants and so forth, with the Archlector, and just stand and fight as much as possible. Once again, looks like another magic missile coming into the mix, hitting the Archlector and doing some okay damage to the Spearman as well. That is a spell I basically never saw before a couple of weeks ago, and ever since Darth Pendragon used it to great effect with some high elf forces in a matchup, I believe it was up against Vampire Coast. I've been seeing it more and more, perhaps I've just noticed it a little bit. Now that kind of has drawn to my attention. The Force Lizardmen are slowly going to swoop around here, try to get their value where they can from these Chameleon Skinks, but they are out of ammunition now, I believe. And Archlector still 2,000 health and a very healthy Gotrek. Full health here, rocking a hard 4,408. Looks like Amy's just going to be trying to cut up the rest of the troops as they do all shatter, but he's not going to be able to force army losses here, as it is just these two guys left, I believe. Is there anything left on the field? Looks like we have some great swords. 18 of those guys in the back there. Well, that is about it. So it looks like another magic missile is going to be coming in. As a Grand Shield of Faith pops, really nice play actually, giving him that 22% damage resistance, trying to ignore that as much as possible. But Amy is going to have to get attacking soon as these units are shattered. And yeah, he is starting to swoop in, I believe. Let's give him a couple of seconds. If not, we will let Amy know he has to attack. But it looks like the Red Crested Skinks have been given the order, and they're slowly going to be zoomed in here. Obviously just waiting for the Grand Shield of Faith to wear off. But in comes the Red Crested Skinks, trying to take him down where possible. Probably best to try and attack the Archelect and try and break him down. I think for the first time in the game as well, we've actually seen the Shield of the Old Ones used. Sometimes it can be a little bit forgetful, sometimes to pop that ability in the key engagements. Just going to be getting in here, giving a really nice 22% damage resistance. And he wants to try and snipe out the Archelect here as quickly as possible. Leave Gotrek to the end and force him down. The forces slowly trickle in here, and you may have noticed Amy's not sending in all his forces in one go, and that's because he's simply resting these guys. There's no point sending in the Skinks, so I'm not going to really do too much damage at this point. Simply pop in there, waste the time of these guys, get your Winds of Magic up so you can continue to do these attacks, and keep forcing your way forwards. So no, Amy, looks like he is swarming in troops, okay. And he wants to pull out his troops and do those magic missiles, but he does need to stay in combat where possible. Architect as well. Going to be dropping a Grand Soulfire here, I think. And it's doing okay damage. Pretty good damage to those Terran Rise, actually, but maybe a second or two too early, which unfortunately happened earlier in the battle as well with the Red Crested Skinks. He could have done a huge amount of work there, but I think this is going to be game for Amu. The current king will hold the throne. As the Archlector goes down, it's going to be simply a matter of Gotrek being pulled apart, I believe, here. As he's going to take this time to scare off Archlector, force him off the field, completely shatter him, and just use magic missiles on Gotrek simply while he waits it. Let's see what you guys say in chat. Finally able to tune in. How's it looking? What's up, Raptor? Hope you're doing all good, man. So Amu managed to win the first game. Very close game, though, up against Noob for Life. Dowie up against Lizardmen. And now Amu has taken the Force Lizardman for himself here. And he's hunted down Consorome in an incredibly tight game here. You can see the Force Lizardmen are completely just beat to death here. There's another magic missile does going on the Archlector. And all that remains for the Force of the Empire is Gotrek and this Archlector, who's certainly going to be chased off the field here. While Gotrek peskily tries to hunt down this Slar Mage Priest where possible. As soon as this guy does shatter, Amu will have to commit some forces to hunting down Gotrek. Looks like another Shield of the Old Ones has come down here, and in come the Cold One Spear Riders, duking out a few attacks as well. But Gotrek's simply going to flee out of the Shield of the Old Ones, which isn't a bad play at all. And before getting eaten alive here a little bit. So it gets poked in the back, but Gotrek pretty well suited to deal with literally everything that is left here. So Gotrek may be able to carry here by some small miracle. Archlector's got to be close to shattering at this point. Minus 14 leadership, simply down to 323 health as well. There's no chance of him coming back here. Cohort of Sotek have popped Refuse to Die, which is actually a really nice play here. Still going to be circle beating down on Gotrek. What might be worth doing, honestly, pop Refuse to Die when that wears off, fall back with them and commit some other Skinks instead, and then simply return to the field as well once Refuse to Die is gone. Looks like GG's by both players here. But, I don't know. Gotrek is a tough boy. He might be able to do it. Victory is in our grasp, apparently, according to the Force of Lizardmen. Archlector got to shatter soon, surely. No idea how he's stuck around this long. But Gotrek's simply going to stand here and fight. He is going to stand there and fight, do his best. But yes, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in so far. See, you've got quite a few people watching. Hope you are enjoying it. If you do, please do consider giving it a big old thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, always feel free as well to subscribe. And you can find the Discord in the description just down below as well. While we watch glorious Godric hack a few skinks apart, you can join my Discord where you can get involved in tournaments and King of the Hills, all that good stuff. Big shot coming by the Slam Mage Priest, doing some okay work up against Godric, but honestly, he's a tough boy here. He is tough, and if he heals as well, that could be an absolute nightmare. So, Archlector has shattered here. The Skink's certainly going to want to be protecting that Slam Mage Priest. He doesn't want to get involved with Godric for too much, but in the big blob fight, it might be worth it, honestly. He has pretty high weapon strength, coming in at 320. If we can get 1 or 2 hits, it might help drag down Godric, who's losing health relatively quickly now, simply due to the amount of attacks he has taken, as all these hammers are raised and fall on top of the poor dwarf here. He's going down in a perfect Slayer fashion. Last man standing. A Shield of the Old Ones has been popped, plus it refused to die at once again. Godric down to 1,700 health. I don't think he's going to be able to last it. Want to speed up? Looks like they are going up in a fast forward here. Which massive shout out to those guys. Poison Ducky! What's up, man? Quack, quack. Hope you're doing good. You missed an announcement earlier that I'm sure you'll want to get involved in, which I'll explain just after this game. But we're doing a no legendary lord King of the Hill today. Should be some good fun. But of course, Godric is a legendary hero, so he is allowed as well as Felix. 1 or 2 more shots coming in. Just trying to finish off Godric here. 730 health. Slam Mage Priest feeling confident enough now to pop in here and do some damage. He's quite a meaty boy. 3,400 health still remaining. But Godric certainly taking 1 or 2 clumps out of him. Down to 2,900 now. He may want to fall back here and get the rest of the forces in. But it looks like we do get a glorious Lord on Lord action here. On Lord on Hero at least. Godric has popped his healing proc here though. So he's fighting to the death. This could be a mistake here. Don't know. Slam Mage Priest, 1,900 health. If he gets finished off and Godric breaks these guys, that'd be absolutely hilarious. But with the balance power so heavily in the Lizardman favour, their leadership's going to be pretty boomed here. I don't think there's too much hope. As, those skinks do have to come to the aid of the Slam Mage Priest, down to 960 health. And Godric actually up to 1,400 now. Cold-blooded having to be popped here on the Slam Mage Priest. He took an absolute hammer in here, but Shield of the Old Ones has been once again laid down, and there's no hope for Godric here. Almost as classic as Noculus versus the World. The Last Samurai. Oh, Undertaker, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I've been watching clips of The Last Samurai on repeat for the last few days. It's just so good. The first time I watched it, I was on a flight to New Zealand, and they had that and Ratatouille in English, and that was it. So I watched The Last Samurai like 3 times on my way there. And it's such a fun movie. I really need to see it again. The real OG versus the world. Go Trek. Go Trek. What's the list packed up? You do have the Undertaker up next, also known as Grombrindle, Stormrunner, Darth Pendragon, and then yourself. Very well played to both players there. Sorry for the little slow end there, but it can happen in these games. Really good work overall. Nice map control once again, kind of by A-move, using the Pterons to hunt down troops. And those rolled out off Griffites nearly with the combination of Archlector and Godric almost carried the day, but slowly got picked apart and chased off by their added mobility. Sorry, I should have probably given up. Nah, it's all good. GG. Well played. Should have given up. Honestly, Godric can certainly carry very effectively there. So, Undertaker, it is your turn to shine. I'm not sure if I have you on my friends list. So, the lobby is just called, I believe, Ducky King of the Hill, password 123. Feel free to hop in. And we will be switching the maps now to, let's actually go Troll Country. Let's go to the OG. Let's bring it back. And we do have a map as well, submitted by Raptor, of course, which will... it's a bit of a tradition on the stream if you are new. So the last map will be recommended normally by Raptor or Aristodemos, and it's normally a horrific map, which the poor last players do have to play in. I'll take a nap. I'll be back in 20-30 minutes. No worries, man. That should give you enough time. Hey, in comes the mighty Grombrindle. Hey, dude. I think making his debut on the channel, at least as far as... playing in one of my tournaments. I've played against him on the channel before. Very good player, an exceptional dwarf player as well. Him and A-Move actually probably the 2 best Dowry players, at least in the gnome community or like the European community or whatever. I don't know about the like the Chinese and the Russian communities and all the different ones, but As far as like the biggest community, which as far as I know is the biggest one, you know, kind of the Americans and the Europeans, these guys probably the two best Dowie players in the game. So, A-Move has only won one game as king, the first game of course being neutral, so it's still banned 2. So 1 pick to ban A-Move. Let's update the scoreboard. Dum 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 dum. We go 2, and we're going to type in Undertaker. I know he's Grombrindle on screen, but it's easy to type in there. Oh, got a load of messages on Discord. Looks like we're good. Cool, cool. Hope you're. I don't know if Ninja's in the chat. I just saw you mention Discord. Hope you're all good, man. Oh, what was the announcement? Perfect. So the announcement, guys. Oh, let's see what they're doing. So just to let you know, A-Move bans dwarves. No, obviously bans dwarves and Tomb Kings. Picks Spirit of the Jungle. So, the announcement, guys, for those who did miss it, is... Da-da-da-da! So, Death Before Dishonor Season 4 will be starting next week on Wednesday at 4:30 PM. Now, this may seem like an early time for you guys who we normally stream at 6:30, but that is because Death Before Dishonor this season is a little bit of a different format. So, qualifier number 3 and 4 is the standard qualifier. 4 players, first come, first serve on my Discord will get a game. But qualifiers 1 and 3 are going to be held over on Challenge, the website where all tournaments are basically held. You can find a link in the description down below, and it's an unlimited amount of people can enter, with the semi-finals and the finals being cast much in a similar way that the normal Death Before Dishonor format will be done. So it should be some pretty exciting stuff, guys. I'm going to advertise on all the Discords up after this stream, but you guys get a little bit ahead of start considering you are watching. So I'm just going to send a quick message. Cool. Sorry, someone's not very well today. Just going to send them... Hope they feel better soon. Anyway, back into the game. It looks like Grombrindle, also known as Undertaker, has in fact gone Skaven, bringing the Rat Men. If we're going to see another Dwarf Mirror match, I'll rage quit. Did we do a Dwarf Mirror match on the channel? I'm not sure. We've done a Lizard Man Mirror match, and my god, was it... it was kind of cool, but like kind of horrifying. Good luck, have fun. Always good to see good sportsmanship. And if you guys have seen... any of my kind of streams before, or involved in any of my tournaments, you'll know that sportsmanship is probably the thing I hold number 1 above all else. When it comes to, inviting people back and so forth. People are easy to get on with. You don't even have to be very talkative. I know a lot of people kind of aren't, that's fine. You don't have to be talkative, you can be talkative, you can do whatever you want, as long as you're a good sport, nice to other people, and play by the rules, you'll always get invited back. But yeah, it's nice to see it back. It's awesome. If you can find the challenge link in the description down below, but I will be advertising across all the Discords, which should be good fun. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. So the previous winners of Death Before Dishonor, I believe, are Zach B. Sane, Chosen One. He actually took out Flying Tackle. I was about to say Flying Tackle. Chosen One, and King of the Dead. Flying Tackle, in fact, became second twice, which must be very frustrating. I saw a Vampire Counts mirror on Alab Bros qualifier. That would be that and the Dowie matchup must be the most horrible. Anyway, we are back on Troll Country. Normally this is a map we start the stream off on, but because we're doing no Legendary Lords, I thought I'd mix it up a little bit and bring it in a little bit later on. So, quite a close quarters map, real blood and thunder affair. Normally kicks off in this centre pocket, but at the same time, there's a few kind of little high grounds as well of hills and trees for sneaky stabbings and defensive deployments. Recently, I've actually seen whoever's on this side tends to push more. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a mental block or something like a mental thing, or because this hill of the tree line can be quite defensive. You even have a little shot blocker to hide casters behind and so forth. But I've certainly noticed a trait that this left-hand side does start to push a little bit aggressively. Let's watch zombies slap each other, hell yeah. Well, we're only on Troll Country. Which would make a mirror match, slightly better. Slightly better. So guys, we do now have the legendary A-move up against the godlike Undertaker. And up after this we have Stormrunner, Darth Pendragon and Pacta. Stormrunner and Darth Pendragon both going to be representing DBD, which is a clan that got birthed into the world not too long ago. And we did have an Extreme Meme Team versus DBD Clan War as well that you can find on the channel. It was a deep stream, went on for way too long, about 4 hours and 45 minutes, so we're going to alter future Clan Wars format so that doesn't happen again, but was very fun and probably the most successful stream we've had. We're currently sitting over 500 views and all that good stuff. So yeah, massive thank you guys for the support as always. You guys are always absolute champs. Lovely to see new people and old people alike around. We'll do wait for these players to load in here. Don't worry too much about the waiting time as well. It's not indicative of people's internet connection, but simply their computer, you know, imagine to load in, but it doesn't affect lag or any of that stuff. Which is all good. I also have a very nasty Lizardman build. I so want to show you. I've got so many replays to get through that I'm slowly kind of grinding my way through. I kind of want to add this one in. It's a disgusting Lizardman build. It's so fun to play, and it's pretty wacky. That I've been using on quick battles, but I might save it and use it in some tournaments at some point before I kind of reveal it, but it's pretty cool. And also, if anyone has any Ungrim, really cool replays featuring Ungrim where he actually does really well, feel free to send them over to me, because I watched Lawmaster of Sotek's Who Would Win challenge, where he pits two competitors from Law up against each other and see who he thinks would win. And just him speaking about Ungrim just shows how much of an absolute badass he was. I wish he was better in the game, and it kind of got me wanted to play Ungrim, so I actually kind of memed a little bit. I kept bringing Ungrim on ladder recently. I think I actually ran into Pacta with Ungrim and got run over a little bit, but it's pretty good fun. Let's see how he does. Stop downloading porn, please. I can't help it. Ah, here we go. Here's all the porn you need in the world right here, mate. This is what you want. The glorious look at that beauty. So, for the forces of King A-move, in the front line we have skink cohorts with javelins, mixing with red-crested skinks and basic skink cohorts as well, all the way along, including the cohort of Sotek, so similar to what we've seen so far. We do have arguably my favourite unit, one of them, it's in the top 5 most likely, the Umbral Tide. These are the regiment-renowned Salamander Hunter Packs, have Stalk, fantastic burst damage, and can certainly do a number on Hell Pit Abominations and so forth. We have 3 Chameleon Skinks in the front line, who are, as we spoke about in the previous matchup, very pesky skirmishers, can do some decent poke damage. We have the Hopak cohort as well, renowned Cold One Spearides, who do have Vanguard, can be interesting to see where they deploy. The Feral Stegodon, as previously beautifully examined. We then have 1, 2, 3 Pterodon Riders, once again, one of them being the Pohawk Sentinels with their famously good rock drop. And for his leadership corps, coming in down here, we do have a Skink Priest of Beasts. Oh, as they disappear into the sweet sunset. Where are you? Over here. Coming with simply just the Manticore summon. And for his Lord choice, we do have the Red-Crested Skink Chief on foot. I love this model on pretty much all of his mounts. We simply don't get to see him enough. He's okay as well. He's pretty good. Looks like he is kind of completely naked though. But look at him just kind of fit in with his Red-Crested Skink buddies. Looks very cool. Now, for the Challenger, the Undertaker, also known as Grombrindle here, comes with a lovely defensive formation. Skaven Slaves in the front line, and in the back lines we have Clan Rat Spears, Clan Rat Spears, Clan Rat Spears as well. But a very thin front line at the same time, so it's going to be relying on these 2 units of Rat Ogres to counter-punch wherever the dinos do push through. We also have Natty Bobu Sharpshooters, Rattling Gunners, the Avalanche Mortars, regiment-renowned Death Globe Mortars, pretty interesting to see those guys in action. Itix Zap Zap Cannon, very well guarded here by the Council Guard, literally within them. The Leadership Corps, Plague Priest, and a Warlock Master, pretty damn cool. Oh, Howling Warpgale going pretty interesting up against those Pterodons. Unfortunately, lag does seem to kick in when these guys do pop in. But looks like they are ready as we do get underway. The Anti-Bobus do start to unleash some shots into the enemy. I really like the pick of the Rattling Gunners here, as they basically work as a backline defensive tool. When your opponent hops on top of the Avalanches or the Natty Bobu Sharpshooters, these guys annihilate them from close range, and you can see the horrible damage that has happened to these poor Pterodon Riders here. The Avalanches actually managed to hit a few shots, but it was really the Natty Bobu Sharpshooters and the No, but basically just them that did the damage, but also it Zap Zap Cannon, which is now starting to focus down this poor Feral Bastildon, who is going to struggle a little bit. Umbral Tide can be pretty key here, so if the front line does engage, and the Natty Bobu sharpshooters get shut down, or at least distracted, you can move up the Salamanders, and they will wreck it Zap Zap in a couple of volleys. They do some really good work. I really like the Avalanche pick here. It's going to be doing fantastic damage up against the Red Crested Skinks overall, and already up to 10 kills as well. Feral Bastildon unfortunately has Rampage, so here, normally he could push through the front lines to start shutting down Natty Bobu's sharpshooters. Instead, he's going to be Rampage, just floating around with some Skaven Slavers before probably charging some Rat Ogres. Nice pressure load coming all across the field here, as we can see by the force of the Lizardmen. And in come the Umbral Tide, but focusing down the Rattling Guns this time instead. Probably going to see a Manticore Summon, and there we go. That's going to be popping up, getting some nice backline pressure. Over on the left-hand flank, the second Feral Bastildon doing a better job here, pushing its way through the Skaven Slaves, and the Rat Ogres are in fact terrified. It'd be well worth chasing those guys off with some Pterodon Riders, but at the same time, he might need them for this backline harass. Looks like we do have the Beric Dundarian Clan Rats as well, Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers coming in with their flaming swords, but Ho-Ho Packs are certainly going to have a nice day there, especially with the Feral Bastildon as a buddy. Here, the Feral Manticore needs to keep pushing on and shutting down enemy troop choices where possible. Looks like a Pterodon Riders have popped over here, done a little bit of damage with rock drops, and so far up against the Council Guard. Unfortunately, its Zap Zap Cannons are facing the wrong way. Those guys need to readjust a little bit. But on the left-hand side, we do have some Plague Monks who were summoned for some back Skinks. And the Red Crested Skink is unfortunately surrounded here by Rat Ogres and Petty Clan Spears as well. But he does have a few nifty abilities. He hasn't brought any of them, so he's going to be a little bit squishy here. Umbral Tide doing some fantastic work, and this is what I'm talking about. Look how quickly this Zap Zap can goes down to the Umbral Tide pressure. One of my favourite units. I see a few people use them, but a lot of players don't seem to like it very much. An Orb does come down on the cohort of Sotek with some pretty damn nice damage, but also catching some of the Avalanche Mortars as well. I think the Pterodon Rush may have helped A-Move push through a little bit quickly here. It was a very thin front line, certainly relying on summons and just the two Rat Ogres. Some of them are getting dragged out onto this left-hand flank, and the others getting driven off pretty early. Has allowed the Lizardman to push through into the back line. But the Umbral Tide now getting hunted down. Unfortunately, some poor skin cohorts being sacrificed here to the great Rat Gods, as Plague Monks going to tear them apart, but at least it does protect the Umbral Tide, who still have a decent amount of volleys left with 11. Well, there's not too many good targets left for them to finish off, but they can certainly turn their fury onto these Rat Ogres and help finish them off. Po-Ho Pack cohort with a Feral Bastildon certainly should be able to do some work. Looks like the Pterodons just picking on the Avalanche Mortars, who are unfortunately in combat with cohort of Sotek. But still 24 models, even though they only have 599 health, which is pretty funny. Dragging these poor Skaven down into the depths. Council Guard as well. 34 models still left, but of course unbreakable. It looks like the Warlock Master not doing too bad here, trying to hunt down the Feral Bastildon where possible. This guy is anti-infantry and can come in with some pretty nifty abilities such as the Orb. So he's trying his best here, but I think the Lizardman King is going to reign victorious here. A lot of the troops are starting to shatter now for Skaven, and army losses is setting in, and that is going to be GG. What a game coming in against two top quality players there. Yeah, I think the front line just slightly too thin, although there was some fantastic early damage coming in by Grombrindle there, also known as Undertaker, doing some great work overall, but not quite enough there. Umbral Tide as well, very effective, 66 kills, taking out its Zap Zap very quickly, although it was slightly overrun at that point anyway. GG, well played. Very nice swarm overall. But yeah, massive shout out to Grombrindle as well, making his debut here on the channel. Fantastic player overall, and certainly someone to be feared. I've unfortunately met my fate multiple times up against him during different live streams and tournaments and so forth. So up next it is Stormrunner. Feel free to join the lobby, buddy. I can always send him an invite in a sec. Anyway, and we're going to play on Toothgrass Hill. Let's update the scores quickly. So A-Move, currently on a 3-game win streak here. Doing very well. And up next we have Stormrunner, then Darth Pendragon, and Pacta rounding out the troops. Dun, dun, dun. Cool, I need to remember to reply to V-Claw after this. Cool, let's invite Stormrunner. Sorry about the burping, guys. A little bit acidy today, but I will try to cover my mouth as much as possible. Hey, what's up, David? How you doing, man? Great to see you around as always. David the White Lizard is a real OG, actually. I think before I had 100 subs, he was one of my subscribers. He used to pop in and say hi now and again. It's always good to see him around. But yes, finally get to see someone use avalanche mortars. They did great work as well. Honestly, I actually really quite liked the play Grombrindle did. He did some really good work. It's just a very thin front line, just got overrun quickly, and he didn't have enough summons, you know, to kind of counter all the punches coming in from a move. So, pick one, ban one, Almighty King. So to make it a little bit harder for the king, after they've won 2 games as kings, of course the first game doesn't count, they will get brought down to just ban 1. GG. Yeah, Grombrindle, man, you played great, dude. Honestly. And I was telling people earlier that you've stomped me quite a few times, actually. I think every time I've run into you, I've struggled up against your mighty Dowie. Warp Grind is a very good protection if you manage to snare to a good extent. So I'm a big fan of the Eshin Triads, because they're quite sneaky. You can't see them. They, of course, have Stalk. And when they pop into the back line, they often pop into your back line with light cav, flyers, that type of stuff. So the Eshin Triads are perfect for dealing with that. But of course, infantry also push through here in the form of skinks and so forth. Ooh, okay. So he banned Tomb Kings. Not banning Coast is pretty bold there, but we're going to have a pretty fun matchup here of 2 sub-factions. I believe we're going to see Tic-Tac-Toe coming in from a... Oh no, can't do Legendary Lords, no! So probably because the Skink may be up in the sky, as Tic-Tac-Toe's faction does get brought, as well as Aleph and Nars. Should be some good fun. I enjoy the no Legendary Lords, actually. It's a nice mix. We won't do this too often, of course. We normally just do the standard King of the Hill. People can play what they want. But it's nice mixing Finns in now and again. Yes. Yes, yes. So, Stormrunner, Darth Pendragon, Pacta. Can any of these 3 champs take down the legendary A-move, who has reigned the tyrant of the stream so far, ruled with an iron lizard fist so far. Done some decent work overall. Quickly check that the stream is all good. Let's have a little look. Bum, 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 bum. Yep, looks like it's all up and running. If you guys are enjoying, please feel free to swing by that like button as well. Get a big old thumbs up, really helps out the channel. And if you enjoy this type of content, feel free to stick around and subscribe. We do all kinds of tournaments, events that you guys can get involved with. You simply just have to join the Discord. And yeah, all that good stuff. So once again, guys, I won't do this too often. I'll probably do it once more now, just for anyone who has joined and again at the end of the stream. But kaboom. Next week, we are starting Death Before Dishonor Season 4. To join up, feel free to follow the challenge link in the description down below, where you can see all the rules, the descriptions, all that good stuff. Starting at 4:30 PM, which is a little bit tough if you work during the day, hence why Qualified 2 and 4 will simply be first come, first serve in a 4-man tournament, so just the semi-finals and final, played in the evenings, just to give everyone a good chance of playing. Looks like A-move is ready. Toothgrass Hill is the map. And Raptor has already given me the final map of the stream, and it's a doozy. It's a doozy. Just gonna have a little drink while we wait. And we will see. So yes, hopefully you guys are doing all good, by the way. Staying nice and safe. We're still on lockdown here in Britain. I desperately need a haircut. It's so bad. When my hair gets to like any type of length, it just curls. It looks horrific. But of course, things have to be taken into account that we are on lockdown, and it's for the safety of everyone that everything kind of does get closed down and whatnot. But yeah, hope you guys are all staying safe in your respective countries. I don't know kind of where it's hit and where it hasn't hit for the most part. But yeah, let's make sure you're all looking after yourselves. That's the way to do it. Also, for those guys who don't know, because I forgot to mention when he popped in the chat earlier, Poison Ducky, who you may have seen saying hello in the chat, is also a YouTuber and a very cool dude indeed. He's also my doubles partner. As far as Total War Warhammer goes. So we haven't really been able to play too many games yet. We're waiting to play in Turin's 2v2. But I highly recommend going and checking out his channel. Does some really fun stuff. Casted some tournaments recently as well. And does his own King of the Hills and streams and so all that good Total War Warhammer content. Plus he's another duck, so what's not to love about ducks? They're just so cool. We just eat bread, chill, plot to take over the world. That's all we do. It's good fun. So, Toothgrass Hill, a map very dominated, of course, by the hill. So, unlike River Amaxon, which ruins its own name by not having a river, Toothgrass Hill certainly has a hill. And some lovely Lizardmen architecture in the background as well, with all these beautiful pyramids, which, honestly, the Lizardmen architecture is some of my favourites in Warhammer. So there's also a decent amount of trees on the left-hand flank if you want to avoid the high ground and just push around low. There's some swamplands and some trees for a little bit of protection, but certainly sitting back can work very effectively on this map, and or rushing the hill. So it's got a little bit like Alpine Ridge of, do you push to try and take the hill, or do you sit back like your opponent take it and simply shoot them off and all that good stuff. Someone had better bring some Shadow Warriors. You better do it. Yes, I'd be a little bit upset if he went Nagarife and didn't bring them. Unfortunately, can't bring Alaphanar. But, you know, it'll still be cool. It'll still be cool. And here we go. So, the forces of King Amove here, undefeated so far in 3 games, I believe it is now. Coming in, oh yes, one of the coolest units in the game. Anyway, let's go for his front line. So, Card 1 Spear Riders looks like, so he's going to have 2 of those on either flank. Legion Shikwa coming in with their really cool ability here, called the Shirishkwa, giving them 44% missile resistance to those around them for a short period of time. Then we have Saurus Warriors, Temper Guard, Saurus Warriors, Temper Guard, all across the front line. So pretty hardcore build here, very different to the builds we saw previously. Coming in as well with 2 Bastiladons with solar engines, which are going to put some long-range pressure on top of the High Elves. And, yeah, do some decent work overall. And Maxon Barbs, which I quite like in this matchup. So normally I'm a bigger fan of the Salamanders, but of course Dragon Princes can be a real pest here. And taking down their high armor with these guys, of course Dragon Princes are immune to fire. They can do some pretty decent work. For his lordship, we do have a Source Old Blood on foot, certainly working his way through all the different lords here. We've seen a Slam, we've seen the Red Crested Lord, and now a Source Old Blood coming with the Horn of Kygor and Amulet of Quetzal. Is it Quetzal? It's, how to say it? Amulet of Itzel, Quetzal, or Quetzal, or whatever it is the Slam one. Really cool mold design, don't get to see him too often. When he is picked, he tends to be on his Carnosaur. We also have a Skink Priest of Beast, coming with Flock of Doom, and, oh, no Manticore summon. Instead, coming with the Curse of, I can never say this, Anarare, whatever it is, slows your speed, accuracy, and melee attack. Really powerful ability overall. Does take quite a lot of Winds of Magic, though. Now, for the Force of Stormrunner, representing DBD here in the front line, he has gone cheap and cheerful with Spearman, merely going to be trying to hold back the enemy while the rest of his army seriously does some damage. Here's a Mage of Light Magic coming with Brian's Time Warp and a Net of Amantok. Is it Net of Amantok or just Net? I'm getting so now I'm getting paranoid with Star, of course. It is Net of Amantok. We have 2 Sisters of Avalon in the centre pocket. Real traditional kind of high off build coming in here. We have Illyrian Reavers, Dragon Princes upon Dragon Princes with some more Reavers as well. Up in the skies, we do have a Prince on a Star Dragon, which is an awesome guy. I actually quite like taking the Mage of Shadows here and dropping Mind Razor, although it is pretty 50-50 with the RNG when you do that. See if he makes the value and pushes through. Also have the Scions as well in the back line, moving around Spearman, just to protect the Sisters. So the Sisters going to do the heavy lifting with the Dragon Princes, and should be pretty good fun. No healing though, which when you bring Dragon Princes and a Dragon you'll often see. Should do some good work. Now the Sisters can tear apart the Bastiladons with Solar Engines, the Razordons and the Temper Guard if they can be protected, and quite risky seeing how Amove has been playing today by going quite quick and wide. It's going to be tough to take down those Sisters, but at the same time, double Solar Engine can certainly put a hurt on them early on. What is your prediction, guys? What's up, V-Claw man? Literally just talking about you. Hope you're doing well, man. I did see your message, but I am currently streaming, but I will be able to follow through with that in a bit. Let's see. Nagarife. Good luck, have fun. And the battle is underway. Both players just checking each other's armies out now before starting to engage forward. And these are Solar Engines. Pretty decent range on them overall, 240. I've actually really been experimenting recently with the Stegodons with the giant bow on them, and it's just so nice having that long range as the Lizardmen Sank you don't normally experience. So both armies slowly going to waddle towards each other now. The Cav probably going to take the high ground here so they can do some nice thunderous charges down behind the enemy. But Illyrian Reavers in particular have to be careful, but even Dragon Princes, when they get counter-charged by Cold One Spear Riders, these guys are certainly no joke. They come in with a pretty huge weapon strength overall of 48, bonus versus large and all that good stuff, and they can, do decent work. We'll see who the first shots are at. I'm assuming he's going to try and focus down either the Sisters of Avalon or the Mage of Light Magic. And yeah, it's going to be the Sisters, but they're in a nice formation for this. They are quite wide. And we're going to see basically a typical play here. The mage is going to push forward, net something. The sisters are going to try and demolish it. It might be worth netting this skink priest if he's overextended a little bit far, but the net doesn't have the longest range on it. As more solar engine shots do come in, oh no, that could have been so dangerous. The sisters were lined up perfectly there to be pushed over like bowling pins. Looks like they are starting to unleash some shots onto the Temple Guard. Honestly, I would leave the Temple Guard to last. I would focus down the get rid of these solar engines because they can do consistent damage, and a maximum barbs and kind of the fast moving factions. But small solar engines coming in, not doing too much damage though. Those guys are a little bit inaccurate here, as the Cav does start to float down this flank and this flank. So really nice traditional play here. Cav on the flank is going to be hitting hard while he tries doing some big damage with his heavy lifters. A nice breath attack as well coming down on the Legion of Shaqua here, doing some pretty good damage. As more solar engines shots do fire in, once again the sisters pretty tanky, not taking too much damage at all here, as Amov does try and force his way back into a bit more of a defensive formation as he realises his long-range power not doing too much. And the Saurus Old Blood pushing deep into enemy lines here, hopping on top of the Spearman, as Saurus Warriors do rush to try and catch up with their Lord. And whoa, the Prince has taken a huge amount of firepower. The Maxim Barbs unleashing shot after shot, and there is no healing for this Prince coming in. He's going to be slowed down now as well by the Curse, and the Maxim Barbs can do some serious good work up against a tough foe like the Prince. The armor piercing, look how much damage they're doing. He's such a big target, and he sat far too close to the Maxim Barbs for too long. And every single shot is hitting, which will tear apart him so quickly here. The Curse has popped down, so he's not going to be able to escape. And that may have unfortunately cost the High Elves the game there, because they were in a pretty advantageous position. All their cav was still active. Sisters were firing pretty unimpeded as well. Slowly starting to work down the Bastillodon. He does have a Shield of Shaqua popped now. But the Maxim Barbs there certainly carrying their weight in gold. Doing some huge damage to the Prince. Maybe he returns 755 health. In the back line, Dragon Princes do pop in. Flock of Doom coming down on them. And the Lyran Reavers as well, trying to punish these Cold One Spear Riders who did match their charge and ferocity, but they're certainly starting to get hammered down now. The Temple Guard starting to pop on top of these guys as well. So the Lyran Reavers and Dragon Princes certainly going to want to fall back now and just start constantly cycle charge where possible. Both sisters still relatively healthy, need to take down these Bastillodons as quickly as possible. Prince has returned to the fray as well. I would keep him well out of the way for now, at least until these Maxim Barbs are taken offline before coming in for another breath attack. Looks like he's going balls to the wall though, coming in and trying to snipe out the Bastillodon with Solar Engine, taking a ton of friendly fire into the back though, nearly killing his Lord, and it looks like the sisters did actually finish off the Prince, shot him in the back. They were not fans, I guess, of his leadership, and unfortunately he did get dragged down. Now they're firing a few shots into the Bastillodon. Skink Priest is going to be moving forward as well. So some more shots do come in. GG says Stormrunner, and he does quit there. I think he still had a few possibilities. Sisters are very healthy, and Dragon Prince is still very healthy, but losing his Lord looks like he wants to concede there. There were still two Temple Guard as well doing pretty good work, and a bit unfortunate there, sniping his own Lord. GG, well played. Oh. Oh. Where's that gone? Oh no! Where's Amov gone? Looks like Amov has dropped out. We're getting back in a second. Those are the Regiment Round Resons. I think they were. They were the Maxim Barbs. It should be all good. The sisters finished off the Prince. They did indeed. So up next we do have Darth Pendragon. If you'd like to hop in the lobby, we'll try and get a move back here, and then we have Pacta to end off the stream. Update the scores quickly while these guys all hop in. Oh no, we still had Undertaker's name on. Sorry, my bad. So we did just have Stormrunner played, and now we will have Darth Pendragon. Sorry about not changing the names before. Is there a move still online? Skink Bongo, I believe, is his name, right? It makes sense. From all the lists there. I'll let him join back his own free real quick. Check Discord, make sure he's not messaging me saying he has to go. My game crashed, lol. Oh, that's right, no worries, man. Just hop back in. Cool. Let's just wait for him to part. Looks like Darth Pendragon has returned. Hey, dude. Now, let's pick a new map. So we have one more sensible map, and then we have Pacta coming in as well on a pretty horrible map, unfortunately. Let's go Valley of Thieves. It's a pretty fun map. Hello from the Under Empire, Daniel. What's up, man? You did unfortunately miss a Skaven game earlier, but perhaps we will return from the depths. We are doing a King of the Hill today. Pretty fun one overall. And yeah, no Legendary Lords allowed. A move 5-0 indeed. I was at 4-0 or 5-0, how's that? 1, 2, 3, 4-0 currently. So he can get a maximum of 6. Last time A-Move played as well, he actually went undefeated the entire time, which is pretty insane, and he's close now. There is only Darth Pendragon and Pacta left to try and stop him. Have seen A-Move has just popped up, saying he's back on Total War, so we'll drop him an invite. And I'll wait for him to join. Q. Dun, dun, dun. So, Vehicle, I'm not sure if you were here for it. I keep banging on about it, but we do have Death Before Dishonor returning next week, which should be good fun. There's a link just down below in the description to challenge where you can enter. All the rules and stuff are described on there. And that is free for anyone to enter. Absolutely anyone. You will eventually have to join the Discord just so you can find your opponents and so forth. But apart from that, no rules, no experience needed, and pros and noobs alike. Which is always good to see. So we'll just wait for A-Move to pop on back now. Make sure he's not messaging me saying there's any problems. Looks like it's fine. And Valley of Thieves, pretty open map. We've done quite a lot of open maps today actually, so do we stick with it? Or do we go? No, we'll keep it for now. And the funnel map is it's pretty disgusting. Never mind. Go for beer and maybe some will be lanterns. Hope victories for us. Yes. Perhaps Skaven will emerge victorious. It was a pretty cool game though. It was A-Move versus Undertaker, kind of like a skink rush up against Skaven. They went quite heavy on the gun side, and was a pretty good game to be honest. He just about managed to crack the shell in time to break through some of those units. Should be all good. Send A-Move a message. Dun. Just let him know what's going on in case he did leave the chat. Yeah, thank you guys by the way for tuning in and just enjoying chilling out with us. It's always a good fun time. I always appreciate you guys. No problem by Darth Pendragon there. True champ. So, Pacta, I hope you're ready, man. Oh, wait, he was asleep, wasn't he? Oh, no. I better message Pacta and just let him know he was up next. Don't want him to fall asleep for it. But, hopefully he doesn't fall asleep too long. We do have Captain Tellus waiting in the wings as well as backup in case he can't play. Okay, should be all good. Should be all good. They're also going to start a other thing on the channel relatively soon, actually. We're going to do a run through of the game Gress, which is very different from Total War Warhammer, but still should be some good fun. I think it's a pretty short game, only a few hours long. So, you know, probably do it in like 1 or 2 live streams during the week to go alongside the Total War Warhammer content. Which should be good fun. There's been like not like a lull, but I'm just waiting for the next DLC basically in Total War Warhammer 3. Hopefully it's not, you know, too long in the making. I know the virus may have kind of stopped or messed up like the timeline of when they wanted to release stuff, but I'm excited. They've said that all the old old world factions will be getting updates and stuff to come in line with the Total War Warhammer 2 factions before Total War Warhammer 3 comes out, which should be good. Because by God, do some of them need some love. It says he's got no problems loading up, so wait and see if he needs another invite. But now is the perfect time. How many bans does he have? 1. Oh, oh god, it's lagging. Hopefully not. One. Okay, that seems to be bugged, but we'll see how this goes. Hey, there he is. Oh, now the one's come down. Oh no, someone seems to have problems. Because the chat is quite lagged. We'll play it and see how it goes. Hopefully there's no problem with A-Move's internet here. 5-0. Is it more than 1 tier quality difference? So what was that? Is it more than 1 tier quality difference? Yeah, it seems quite laggy. But we will try and persist and see how it goes. And, hopefully they should be all good. Hello. So A-Move gets 1 pick, 1 ban. Hey, okay, it looks like it's sped up again. Okay, whatever that was seemed to disappear now that A-Move has fully loaded in, which is good to see. I'm assuming it's going to be in Lizardmen. So the first game, Noob for Life went Lizardmen, so he had to go for something a little bit different. Mixed it up and went Dowie, and ever since then he's been rocking the Lizardmen pretty damn strong here. He's done that multiple times on the stream, actually. I feel like they've become his favourite faction over Dwarfs, regardless of what he says. Yeah, I've seen him play Lizardmen so much, but maybe he just actually got burnt out on Dwarfs. He did used to play them an absolute ton for like a long period of time, but he's certainly quite diverse now. Very versatile player, can bring all kinds of builds and all kinds of factions, which is a deadly player indeed. We'll get this underway shortly, before Pacta shall hopefully arise in time to do the final game. Which should be some good fun. V-Claw, how's the YouTube channel going? I know you were mainly Twitch, but it looks like you've branched out to YouTube fairly recently. Is it going all good? I hope so. I'd like to be involved in some tournaments on your channel as well at some point. Should be some good fun. Unfortunately, I work weekends, so it's quite tough. So he is taking Lizardmen and banning Coast. Going Lizards again. Darth Pendragon predicted. Coast, incredibly good. Probably the best faction in the game, honestly, as far as levels go. They're probably the top tier. But especially against Lizardmen, they're so good. So nice ban there. One sec. Okay, Darth Pendragon going to be thinking about this. I feel the problem against going up against A-Move as well when he's Lizardmen. Normally I would take Dowie as a counter pick, but he knows Dowie so well I'd be a little bit worried that he would kind of know all the all the tricks and so forth, which could cause problems. Valley of Thieves, though, very big map overall, so certainly could do a defensive formation up against the kind of swarming of the skinks. But as we've seen earlier, he's map control can be tough if you're kind of boxed in. We'll see. Darth Pendragon, I believe, is mainly known for playing, I want to say, High Elves and Chaos. I could be wrong, but I've definitely seen him play some very good High Elf games overall. It would be nice to see some Chaos on the field. But of course, the No Legendary Lord Sven does play a big part in this as well. And I think Chaos don't really have the best basic Lord kits. They do have a Sorcerer Lord who can do okay up on top of a Dragon. Dark Elves it is. That classic matchup, which is pretty rough for the Lizardmen a lot of the times, but certainly they have the answers for units like Scourge Runner Chariots. But there's just so much fast-moving armor piercing that comes with the Dark Elves, from Dark Riders to Crossbows, Scourge Runner Chariots, a lot of flying units as well. It can be a little bit of a nightmare, but we'll see how it goes. See if Pendragon can pull it through and destroy the reign of A-Move. Our glorious king here, or Tyrant, depending on which way you look at it. And he's got 2 games to go undefeated. Just the 2. Okay, I'm going to... It was freezing for a sec. Oh, that's alright. I'm going to pin Pacta, just so he doesn't know. Pacta. I just don't want him to miss it. Because unfortunately, we've got like people waiting in the wings and stuff who can hop in if Pacta does accidentally fall asleep and doesn't manage to make it back in time. But Pacta is notorious for just about missing out on all my tournaments and streams by about 5 minutes in the queue, and occasionally gets in for the last game, so we've got him in. And hopefully he can play. Looks like A-Move is ready. And we will get this cracking shortly. Dun 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 dun. The way a show I've been watching, just while I've got a little bit of downtime here, that I highly recommend is a really fun show overall, is the Harley Quinn animated TV show. So the one that's come out recently with the I can't remember her name. She plays Penny in Big Bang Theory. Does the voice of Harley Quinn, which I wasn't 100% sold on, but it is so good. It's a really good fun if you're kind of into more like a cartoon situation. It's a hard R, very hard R rated cartoon, and it really portrays the characters very well, and is just an absolute blast. I've been enjoying that recently, and of course, there's so much good stuff about at the moment. I've just been kind of itching to get back to some Witcher and Mandalorian as well, but having to wait on their new seasons, which will probably be pushed back, unfortunately, due to the virus, but we will see. We will see. Yes, I know a lot of people have been watching the Tiger King, or King Tiger, or whatever it's called, but I don't know how I feel. I feel like it's going to be so terrible, but so entertaining at the same time. But I know it's going to frustrate me, so I haven't got myself to watch it just yet. Not just yet, anyway. A Pacta has popped up online, which is good to see. So he will be ready. So just one game before it is his time to shine. Dun, dun, dun. Cool. I feel like I can hear people chatting, but I can't see messages. Sorry, give me a sec, that's fine. It's all good, there's no rush. And we'll simply chill out. Chill out with you guys for as much as possible. And yeah, small stream coming tomorrow, but nothing too long, simply because last week was pretty hefty in the stream department. And maybe even a stream Friday as well, but that'll probably be gross. No problem. Oh, good sportsmanship all round so far. Who is your money on? You're on. Did I make it in time? Just. I was worried. That's why I sent you the messages. Pacta, you have this game, and then you're up. So it's literally a move versus Darth Pendragon, and perhaps you can try and stop the reign of the current king. But yeah, sorry for messaging you, but I wanted to make sure you didn't, sleep over and miss the finale again. Raptor, you say yes, surprisingly, but deep down I know you're cackling evilly at the map you sent me. That you forced poor Pacta to play on. I need to get Pacta in like at the start of a King of Hill so he gets to experience some nice maps before he gets torn down by the notorious Raptor. He was the real villain of the stream, I feel. Everyone's trying to drag down the king, but they're not only fighting the king, they're also fighting the Raptor himself. So these boys are good to go. Let's get in here with the second to last battle of the stream. I think we've been streaming for about an hour and a half so far, so 2 hours roughly. It's going to be a pretty good fun. Pretty good stream overall. Valley of Thieves. Not many places for thieves to hide in this valley, unfortunately. Unless there's maybe under pits they can go through. A little tunnel is burrowing under the ground. So we do start to load in here. I love the pyramids in the distance, and they're kind of slightly wavy, as if they're like a mirage. Which is really good fun, of course, as we are in the desert here. And this is a bit of a... I've seen this map quite a lot in Thomas recently. There's raised platforms on both flanks, big ravine in the middle here, a nice little dip with a few little tiny pieces of scenery, blocks and pillars. And I wonder what this must have been the same as that, I suppose, all the way along. These little obelisks dotted around, and in the distance we can see the land of the Tomb Kings hiding deep underground and inside these fortresses. They're nice pyramids and tombs all around the place. Tomb Kings, one of those factions I've never really got into playing much myself, but I have huge respect for them. They're a very powerful faction overall. I believe all the undead factions are basically top tier. As far as counts, Coast, and the Kings, I would say Coast are the best, though. They're just so much cheap AP fire, unbreakable units as well, so it's hard to break into their back line. They can be a real menace in the night. But yeah, any prediction, guys? Let me know. Do you want the, who's your favourite here? Do you want the king to continue his mighty reign? Or would you like him to be overthrown here near the death of this stream? But yes, very cool map indeed. Nice to get a few desert maps mixed in here as well. I like getting a some decent thematic ones in. Get a couple of forest ones, a couple of more jungle, Lizardman themed ones, and a few Tomb Kings in there as well. I hope you're going to like the map, Pacta. I'm sure he will. I can't remember off the top of my head what I know the name, but I can't remember the map, what it looks like off the top of my head. Well, these guys trying to load in for a second here, but hopefully that will... hopefully A-Move doesn't have any problems with his computer. It did struggle to load up. I think it froze a little bit. But he's managed to play the whole stream so far. Not too many lag problems, so... Well, hopefully we'll be loading in just a second. Beautiful parents in the distance. If you guys could be in any faction as well, if you didn't get to choose what you were in the faction, but you could be in any faction, what would you pick in real life? Because I don't think I would go Lizardman, even though they are my favourite faction, but living as basically a weapon, if you're like a Saurus, or a servant as a skink, doesn't really kind of suit me, I don't think, very well. I'm too chilled for that. So I'd probably go something like High Elf and pray that I wasn't a warrior pushed on the front line, or like a Shadow Warrior who has to live a life of despair and dread in general. But, you know, be a sophisticated High Elf in the middle of a city somewhere, just sipping on some fine wine, chilling out. It makes you feel better. I lost my last match up against A-Move as well. Rabbit even put it on his channel. Did I? Did I? Oh, yes, I did, yes. I did. That was a really fun game. That was a really fun game, actually. With the White Dwarf doing his best. Looks like these guys are trying to load in. Hopefully there's been no drops. Let's check Discord. Okay, I've got no messages from either of them. So fingers crossed, guys. We do load in here. If only I'd taken Leech instead of Useless Purple Sun. Yeah, V-Claw brought a really cool build. They brought Purple Sun with the Tomb Kings up against the Dwarfs, and it didn't really pay for itself. I quite like the idea of bunching up the Slayers with like a Sphinx and then dropping the Purple Sun on them, but it unfortunately didn't really pay off. High Elves or Wood Elves are the best bet for survival, I think. I don't know, though. Wood Elves, they're constantly under attack, like, all the time. Half the trees hate them, even though they live in Athel-Loren, because of, like, Drycha and so forth. And, you know, you live in the forest, you don't really get too many luxuries, but yeah, it could work. Later I learned you have to hit single characters with the side of your chat instead of the front. You have to like drift in. So it looks like these guys aren't going to connect here. Unfortunately. I'm going to try one more time after. Oh my god, what's going on with the mouse? Okay, it's all good. But, come on guys, you got 50 seconds. I believe in you. I believe. If not, we'll give one more try. If not, we'll have to try a new pair, and unfortunately. Let's see how it goes. Come on, I believe. I believe in a thing called A-Move and Darth Pendragon. The greatest love story since Twilight. Come on, guys. I think someone's definitely frozen here. No message on Discord yet, so I hope maybe they're both just in the same screen as I am. But yeah, normally a little bar pops in the top left, which kind of shows you the players are loading in, but if that doesn't come in, you know you're in, you got big problems. I wonder what happens when this hits 0. Just the whole stream crashes and dies. That'd be pretty horrifying. But 2, 1, boop. Okay. Oh. Nah, okay. It looks like A-Move did get dropped, unfortunately. We'll give him one more chance. Don't want to see the king bowed out this way. But it will be same builds as well. So let's get off that quite quickly, actually. Oh. So we'll try one more time, get A-Move back in. If not, we'll just have to move on to the final game. Is he still on Total War, or did it kick him down completely? Still here. Hold. Cool, just send a message, we'll see what he says. And yeah, sorry about this delay between games, guys, but it does happen now and again. Luckily, I have you boys to talk to. We can always get Pactor in as well to replace A-Move if he can't get back online. And that'd be a nice way to finish the stream as well. Let's see. Give him one more chance to hop on anyway. And do some decent work. Don't want to, you know, give up the crown because of internet issues. That'd be a bit horrible. Just to have it dragged out and pulled apart from his cold, dead, bloody hands, hopefully. It's a much better way to go. But High Elves or Wood Elves? I would certainly take High Elves, I think. It'd be a tough one. Everyone else kind of lives pretty crappy lives, unfortunately. The high elves for the most part do, but there's one or two you might get a little bit lucky. Dun dun dun, so I'll just wait for Amy to jump back in. I won't spam him with invites just yet. So check all the Discord. Yeah, we're good. Cool. So give him a couple of minutes. And oh, looks like my phone froze. How's that, guys? Can't see what any of you guys are saying. It's just gone blank. There we go. Okay, I'm back. Guess who's back? Dun dun dun. Come on, I move. I believe. I believe. Unfortunately, it's. I'm sure it's very frustrating for him as well. Game crashing does unfortunately happen now and again in Total War. I had a problem once where it used to crash like after quick battles and give me the loss for dropping out even though I was winning the game. Oh, it was so frustrating. But luckily that bug got fixed and switched it around a little bit. So I don't want to spoil the last map, but I kind of want to go click on it and see what it looks like. Well, I think about it actually. Let's go check. Dun -dun -dun. Oh, sorry guys, just going to check something quick. Make sure my internet's all good. Yeah, okay, my internet's still up and running. Hey, it's nice to see we've already got a few people readying up as well for the tournament for next week. Already got 6 fellows in there. If you guys do want to play in the Death Before Dishonor Season 4, number 1 qualify, feel free to join the challenge, basically. There's a challenge link just in the description down below. Hey, he's back. Hey. The return of the king. Oh no, he's really struggling to join for some reason, and it's messing up the chat as well. So we'll try one last time, and if he can't get in, we'll just have to move up to Pactor, unfortunately. See, the lag stops once he's in, which is really strange, so it's a really odd situation. Cool. Boop. Let's get this going. Once again, guys, sorry about the little wait, but it can happen. And don't worry, the whole thing as well, of course, will be uploaded onto YouTube, so you can jump through this kind of stuff if you know, you don't want to stick around and hear my beautiful voice. And my beautiful voice. What precautions of different people's governments put in place in their countries, by the way, because of the virus? I know people are probably a bit sick of talking about it, but I am interested to know what's going on in the world. Same builds, please. So just gonna go same builds and just go at it. Could be the lobby. Yeah, lobby may be bugged, but I haven't seen that problem before where... I mean, his game froze before as well. We'll see. We'll see. Cool. But I saw his build. Shouldn't we change it? Up to move. If Amove wants to switch it because his opponent has seen it, feel free. If he wants to stick with the same ones, he can. I'm pretty chill. Looks like he's ready for it. I'm bringing the same event. Cool. Same armies then, please. Perfect. Cool. Dark Dragon was probably plotting a different build there, so I'll give him a few moments to bring back the old one. As of a sip on some fine water. Cool. Here in Italy, we are lifting the lockdown a bit on the 4th of May. Awesome. That's some good news. Have you started to see a decrease yet, or is it still still pretty bad over there? I know Italy got hit like ridiculously hard. Here it hasn't been bad. They haven't even... Oh, it hasn't been too bad. They have started to open things again this week. but I think it is a mistake. Yeah, I don't know what country are you from, Raptor? But America did that, and it went very badly for them, at least in a couple of states. It's just not a very smart move, unfortunately. I think I get tested relatively soon, because I'm a key worker, so all the key workers in the UK are starting to get tested, basically. So that's going to be fun. I don't know how they do it. If I have to like send them a sample or something. A sample of what as well? It was optional. I'm going to send them a sample of pure blood. Cool. We're loading all good. So let's pray. Hashtag pray for a move. Obviously with the usual hilarious Italian drama. Oh, Norway, of course, Raptor. Sorry. I did know that. I did know that indeed. A lot of Scandinavians actually seem to play Total War. Quite a big community of you guys. I actually really want to travel across Scandinavia in general. It's quite expensive in different areas, but it has been a long-term goal for a little while. Numbers are decreasing almost everywhere. Lovely. That's what I like to hear. So, these guys try to load him. And let's pray. Let's pray. What we're really waiting for is a little mark to pop in this top left, which lets me know they're actually loading in. And we're not just kind of stuck in the same screen. Hey! Beautiful. Beautiful. That is a very good sign. Hey! And we have armies. Huzzah, the stream is saved. So let's quickly have a look at the current king himself and go through his formation. So we have cohort of Sotek mixed in with some skink cohort javelins and Saurus warriors with shields. So a fairly juicy front line. Nothing too elite, but at the same time, nothing too shabby. A couple of units of Cold One Spear Eyes. We've seen these brought in almost every matchup so far of A-Move's Lizardman run through, including the Hopak cohort as well. So 3 units of those guys. These guys, of course, have Vanguard. And honestly, really solid unit, can deal with enemy cav relatively effectively. We have 2 Chameleon Skinks in the front line as well as some Pterodon Riders and the Pohawk Sentinels. Or Pohax Sentinels. Those guys do some decent rock drops, and this matchup in general is often decided on who wins the skirmish game. So I like the inclusion of the Pterodons, the Chameleons, and the Cold Ones, of course. Down low, we have a Bastiladon with Solar Engine as well, trying to force in the Dark Elves overall. And a Slann Mage Priest, I'm assuming high magic here. Yep, high magic, very good at catching units in the air. If he's brought Tempest, which he has, this could be deadly. So, Banishment, Shield of the Odd Ones, Blood Statue of Spite, Tempest, Soul Quench, which we saw earlier do some pretty decent damage, and of course, Apotheosis for healing. Healing's always very good, and a Tempest could do work here up against a Supreme Sorceress of Shadows on a Dragon. That's some pretty crazy stuff. So, for the forces of Darth Pendragon, the Pretender, the Usurper, and all those good things that will be told about him if he loses. But if he wins, the rightful true king returning to take his crown. We have Dark Riders with shields, so we're going to be in a tasty engagement off the bat. 3 units of repeater crossbows as well, which are fast moving AP, always fantastic in almost every matchup. 2 units of Cold One Knights. These guys do not want to tussle with the Cold One Spear Eyes, however, as Cold One Spear Eyes will beat these guys just a little bit. We have 1 Scourge Runner Chariot on the right hand flank here, and a main battle line of cheap and cheerful Dread Spears. Looks like they are chevroned up to 1 bronze chevron, just to allow them to hold a little bit longer, while the rest of his fast mobile army does the rest of the damage. Up in the skies, he does have a Supreme Sorceress of Shadows here. Really cool pick coming in here. Don't often see her on a dragon at all. I didn't even know she could take a dragon, not going to lie. She is coming with the Black Horror here, which is a pretty cool unit. What is it? An Air Effect. I don't know if I've even seen this. Opal Amulet, Pendulum, Enfeebling Foe, Melkoff's Mystifying Miasma, all the competitive stuff. And she does have a Master up top of a Pegasus as well, protecting her. What's that a man's call? As soon as a man. No, it's Pegasus. Awesome. Some units you don't often get to see. And oh no, lag is kicking off straight away. But instantly Dark Riders do start to push into these Chameleons. The cohort of Sotek are going to be there to countercharge as well. Chameleon's not going to take too much damage. And if these Dark Riders actually stick around, it wouldn't be a worthwhile trade. They've lost a few more, so I think overall pretty good engagement off the bat. And unfortunately, Pterodon Riders as well get sniped a little bit. Good luck, have fun in the chat. It looks like the whatever connection problems were kind of bugging us there have managed to subside, which is beautiful. So, Power Settles, searching for a clean target. Honestly, dropping rocks on the Dread Spears isn't the worst idea here. Although if they can get all these Dark Riders bunched up, that can also do some pretty effective damage. Pterodon Riders need to be very careful. There's so many fast-moving Dark Riders and flying units. And in comes the Master already, trying to hunt down these Chameleon Skinks. But he wants to get back up in the air. He doesn't want to get surrounded here by cohort of Sotek. But it looks like a big frontal charge maybe coming in, trying to break him free. He should hopefully be able to get back up into the air now. And some really nice shock damage coming in. Cold One Spearrider's already taken a ton of damage here in the back line. Constant pressure by the Dark Riders is really picking those guys apart and going to definitely help Darth Pendragon win the mobile game, which is so key here. Saurus Warriors will be able to mulch through Dread Spears relatively effectively, and that Solar Engine starting to hunt down the Scourge Runner Chariots, getting some good hits, and the pretty beat up Cold One Spear Eyes hopping on top of those guys and doing some good work as well. Still 21 models here, so they could get an Apotheosis and healed up a little bit. Up in the sky as well, the Hawk Sentinels just being a pain, trying to target down Dark Riders where possible. But in comes the Supreme Sorceress. I keep thinking to Malekith just because it's such a common pick, and it's strange seeing a different Dark Elf Lord on a dragon here. It's going to be hunting those guys away. Don't think we've seen any Black Breaths come down either yet. Could be used on the Saurus Warriors to quite good effect. So Spearman just taking a little bit of damage. Solar Engine launches some shots now as the Slant Mage Priest looks like he's going to be firing out Magic Missile up at the Master, doing some pretty good damage. The Master can relatively safely actually fall back over here, hop on top of the Bastiladon and start to take him down. These Cold One Riders and Chameleons will need to come over to engage. It looks like a fat Pendulum going down, doing some okay work to Cohort Sotek and the Cold Ones, but also doing some decent damage to his own troops in the Cold One Knights and the Scourge Runner Chariots. Dark Riders do manage to fill these Terran Riders with a ton of holes here. Those guys are going to be forced off the battle, and the Dark Elves doing very good here. A Banishment has been dropped here, doing some okay damage to the Dread Spears by looks of it, but then coming through the Saurus Warriors, looks like it just squeezes through the worst of it though. It's not too much damage being taken place. Cold One Riders getting a lovely charge as well into the rear here of the Saurus Warriors, so they're going to help break those guys down. Blood Statue of Spite is dropped on the Blood One, and the Cold One Knights, however, trying to force those guys off as the Shield of the Old One is popped, and Pterodons start to float over as well. Master has been caught here by the Cold One Spear Eyes, but he should do okay. He does have an anti-large and that good stuff, so he can fight this. But he's taking a lot of damage in return. He's relatively squishy being an elf and starting to struggle. And even the Slan is staring him down now with disgust and looking on in pride as the Cold One Spear Eyes do tear him limb from limb. So Dark Elves definitely went in the had some good early game engagements there. Did some okay work to Chameleon Skinks and tearing apart Cold One Riders left, right and centre. They still have all their Skirmish Corps active and available. The Supreme Sorceress needs to just drop down and finish off these Cohort Sotek as quickly as possible. But the front line got absolutely decimated as expected. And the back line, this Master started to struggle now. But if the Cold One Knights can come in here, help free him up a little bit, they can certainly surround the Bastiladon and the Slant Mage Priest of Life and do some seriously good work. Up in the sky, still have the Pohawks Sentinels just lurking. No rock drops left for these guys. They're going to be floating to the back lines here, trying to protect their lord. Looks like we have a really good pendulum coming down here. Hopak trying to escape in time. And it looks like... oh no, that is the weird vortex ability she has, which I haven't seen before. Absolutely decimates the Skinks cohorts here. Does a little bit of friendly fire damage as well. Chameleon Skinks now just going to be popping on top of the Sorcerers, trying to do as much damage as possible. Pohopak's still very healthy here, which could be some good work. So in the back lines, then come the Cod Ones and the Master trying to deal with the Bastiladon, but he's still a tanky boy in general, even with all his anti-large on him, coming in with a massive 140 armour. And Master going toe-to-toe with the Slant Mage Priest in combat, which is pretty funny stuff. Looks like we're getting another attack down here, a big pendulum coming down. Did unfortunately catch some Dread Spears at the death here, but overall doing some good work onto the Saurus Warriors. And there's so many Dark Riders who've managed to free themselves of these pesky Chameleon Skinks and cohort over here are trailing them so fast. They need to wrap all the way around here, if I was them now, and help finish off the Bastiladon and focus fire down that Slant Mage Priest, who's having difficulties here in the back line. But these guys need to keep moving and get all the way around this side. Over here on the left-hand side, Pohopak Coport need to come in here and pin in the Supreme Sorceress. She's dived in a sketchy engagement, and if she gets full of poison darts, that's going to slow her down as well and allow the Pohopak to get up there and do some decent damage. But a nice counter enfeebling foe, going to ensure these guys don't do too much work in general, and hopefully allow the Supreme Sorceress to get up in the air. And there she does. So nice play so far. Balance power though, slowly going in the favour of the Lizman. So he just couldn't get the Dark Riders around quick enough to assist the Master and these Cold One Knights. And Supreme Sorceress kind of got bogged down over there, so he didn't get the opportunity to snipe out the Slant Mage Priest and the Bastiladon. A nice Overcast Tempest coming down as well, going to be doing huge damage to Supreme Sorceress and slowing her down. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be game here, but what a close game overall. The Dark Elves certainly had some key moments, and I think it came down to could they finish off the Slan and the Bastiladon when they had the opportunity and overload that left flank. They got a tiny bit bogged down, attempting to get his troops around as quickly as possible, however. And Slant Mage Priest, very thick, he takes a long time to snipe anyway. Especially with Shield of the Old One and so forth. Still 3,000 health, gone down to about half health. But half health was a little bit too little too late. Dark Rise have rallied, but there's not that many of them left, so their damage output is certainly going to be a lot smaller. And once again, good diligent play. We've seen this all streamed by A-Move, as these Payhawk Sentinels are going to drive off the Master very quickly. And I think that is going to be GG's. Unfortunately, the balance of power does ebb and flow more and more in favour of the old ones here. Islam Mage Priest cackling here and dropping spells where he can. Actually an okay melee combatant, simply because of how hard he does hit. So, you know, this is a too dangerous situation. He can sit in here, surrounded by his Saurus, and fight it out. Although the info has been popped on him, and although probably won't be better to be popped on the Poho packs, but maybe he's going for the snipe as well, rather than that melee defense. Banishment in distance there, just scattering the rest of the Dark Elf forces, and King A-Move is going to continue. So Pacta is here, and yeah, going to be coming in for the final game of the stream. What's up, Alric Rao? Good to see you, my dude. Hope you're all good, man. So yeah, really good play overall by both players. Normally this is relatively favoured to Dark Elves without Malekith and so forth. Things are even more even. It's not, you know, too unfair anyway, one way or the other. But yeah, Dark Rise, great initial engagements. They destroyed one of the units of the Cold and Spear Rise, but then got bogged down by Skinks and couldn't unfortunately use their mobility. They need to wrap up and around to the other side and then start hitting the Lizardmen forces from the other flank. But really well played and a good showing by both players. 105 kills on Supreme Sorceress is always a fantastic thing to see. GG, well played. Final matchup. Next. On a Raptor chosen map. Just better pre-warn them. I'll wait for Pat to come in first. I'm very sick of Malekith Soul Stealer blobs. Yeah, which is kind of fun, doing no Legendary Lords. We do get to see different picks and different builds in general. A lot of people build... you know, the entire army is round one character sometimes and his abilities, so we get to see a lot of different stuff by doing this format once in a while. That High Slam Mage Priest, yeah, he's been good all stream. Should play Afro Man because I got high whenever he's in the battle. I love it. The old ones are going to be very proud. I only play Malekith in like 30-40% of the matchups. So let's, sounds like a word combination you never want to hear. I love it. I love it. Where are you, Pacta? There we are. Boo, Pacta representing ODM. Oh, just so he's in. Hey! So the map is... Dun dun dun. Let's quickly check what was sent. I don't want to mess this up. So it is... a beautiful map, and that is... Shrine of Cain for our final map here. In what I can only imagine is a horribly disgusting map. Are you kidding me? Shrine of Cain. And he sent a message saying just for Pacta. I don't even know if that's walls or lakes. So, King A-Move to pick and ban one. So let's update the scores quickly. So A-Move on a 5-game win streak. Can he make it 6? A very impressive showing for the old one so far. He destroyed the Lizardmen in round 1 and then became the Lizardmen, which is the best way to go. And once you go skink, you don't go back. So, Master not needed and not... only one chariot. Oh, Scourge Runner chariots. Disgusting. Disgusting. Yeah, man. Good. Hopefully get you back in some tournaments soon as well, Alric. Get you back in playing soon. So, now we've got one game to go. It's a good time to do this announcement. I've dotted it through the stream, so I apologise if people have already seen it. But if anyone new, Death Before Dishonor Season 4 is kicking off next season on Wednesday. There's a link to the challenge page in the description down below, and it's a bit of a different format. Normally it was the 4 people, first come, first serve, 4 qualifiers, and then a grand finals. And this time, 2 of the qualifiers are going to be open to as many people as possible, and then 2 of them being the traditional format, and of course the grand finals still being the same. So I know you're a big tournament player, man, so if you want to join, feel free to hit that description link and hop in. I'll be advertising all the Discords coming up soon as well. Seeing Rafi with just Soul Stealer hurts me though. Yeah, it can be painful. So, it looks like a move is picking the Lizardmen once more and banning Dark Elves this time. Packed a very, very good Dark Elf player. He can play all the elves pretty damn effectively. Big fan of his Wood Elf play as well. Or seeing Soul Stealers before the caster has even taken damage. Yeah, that kind of frustrates me. Sometimes it's a good play if you're trying to finish something off. But when people drop it early, I'm like, why? Why? I mean, I guess if you've got like a billion fins blobbed up, sometimes it's worth it. At least the map kind of looks like it has a smiley face dotted in here somewhere. That's probably Raptor's face there. His 2 eyes, his nose, and his little smile. Got some ears and a funky hairdo coming in here. So, turns out Shrine of Cain is just Raptor. Who would have thought? Melkoff's is good. Yeah, Melkoff's is overlooked sometimes. I love the slow on it. It can certainly be pretty decent. Pack to go Wood Elves, yes! Yay, Wood Elves. Probably one of my favourite factions as well. I'm not necessarily like my second best faction, but one of my favourite like thematically to play and stuff. And they're really quite cool. I do love a good old Wild Rider rush, I must admit. I don't play the traditional Wood Elves. Been experimenting though recently with different builds and so forth, so it's always good fun. She has a lower health cap, so after like 3 stealers she can reach, yeah, the health cap. Yeah, that makes sense as well. It's always good to bring different spells. You don't want to spam the one there. Or at least on most matchups. Sometimes like a Manticore summon or something, you just want that cheap and cheerful. You can get some fantastic value out of it. So who's your money on, guys? Do you think a move can be stopped? Yeah, I did change the names and stuff. Do you think our Tyrant Overlord A move can be stopped, or will we have to praise him as king for the next week until next week's King of the Hill? Or can Pacta swoop in at the death here and claim victorious the crown, basically rip the crown from A move's hands, raise it high above his head, come in for the last little snipe, and yeah, reap the glories of being king for a week. Of course, being king does entitle you to a free high five from me if you ever see me in public. So make sure to visit Britain when you can after you've become king. I'll give you a very cool high five, a crisp high five. So going to this final game here, guys. A little sip of water. To keep me alive. We will see. Whoa. Pacta representing the ODM. We will be trying to get ODM back as a clan soon as well. Onto the channel to do some clan wars and some good stuff. They did a Civil War not too long back, but DVD played Extreme Meme Team recent. Really fun set of games, and we're setting a clan war up as well up against RTK, which should be some good fun. So currently in the works. Probably won't be for a little while because it takes a little while to organise these type of events, but should be some good fun. Map might favour Wood Elves as well. Sorry about that, guys. I went to speak and then cough at the same time. When I drop Soul Stealer without Marathi having taken damage, it's only big enemy blobs. Yeah, sometimes it's worth it in that situation. Big blobs, or you're trying to finish off a target, but yeah. Marathi is a pretty epic and original lord. I'm always happy to see her. Hey, yeah, I know what you're thinking, V-Claw. I know. She's an old lady compared to you, man. She's old. She's an elf. Just a rules query. Let's check. Let's go to the Wood Elves. Yes, it is. Cool. Mo math. Yeah. In our country, we have a saying. I don't know if I want to know what this saying is. Where are you from, by the way, V-Claw? You need to use an old bike to learn how to ride. Well, I can't get that image out of my brain now, so thanks for that. So thanks for that indeed. Who would win in a fistfight between Marathi and Alarielle? Because Alarielle could heal herself as they're fighting, I suppose. I feel like Marathi would be a better melee combatant. Oh my god, what is this? What is this? It looks like basically a gigantic, almost like a choke point, because you don't want to dip all the way down here. Lots of impassable terrain, nasty trees dotted around the place as well. Glorious scenery in the background though, like desolate mountains with a few dead and dying trees. And a beautiful shrine as well to Kane here, speaking of Marathi. Look at this majestic architecture here. I'm assuming this is a quest map on the campaign. So yeah, guys, watch out. I might do a Shogun campaign. I might live stream it, I might not. I might just play it offline because it was free recently. And see how it goes. But it looks like both players have loaded in, which is perfect. So let's go over the King's build first, and then we'll pop back and check out these Wood Elves. So we do have 3 Chameleon Skinks in the... or 4 Chameleon Skinks. Very good up against Wood Elves. Can do a surprising amount of damage as well against Forest Dragons and so forth. But very pesky and going to be annoying to deal with in general. We have Cold One Spear Eyes. Is it 2 again? Just the 1 this time. So he's... you know, gone back on tradition and only taken the 1, but instead has brought the Cohort of Hoatzel. I love this unit. I've been bringing them recently on ladder. They're very overcosted for what they do, but they do come in with some nice armor sundering. We'll be able to beat down some big nasty trees and so forth, but will, of course, eat missile fire where possible. But armor sundering, armor piercing, all that good stuff. And I mean, what's not to love about this beautiful colour scheme with giant crocodiles with power fists? It's a beautiful sight indeed. For his main battle line, we do have Saurus Warriors mixed in with a few units of skink cohorts and javelins, as well as the Legion of Shaquar. Going to be taking a defensive approach here on this nice little bit of high ground, making Obi-Wan proud as always. He has a Basilion with Solar Engine, very good in this matchup for that consistent long-range damage. And Slan Mage, piece of high magic, which seems to be a real big favourite here. And he's actually probably my favourite Slan to pick in most matchups. Once again, coming with Tempest and Apotheosis. A little bit of a cheaper build this time. Blood Statue of Spite, Shield of the Old Ones, and Banishment. So overall, a pretty decent build. Good fun. Let's have a look at the forces of the Wood Elves here and Pactor, the final challenger. We have Eternal Guard in the front line and some in the centre pocket, mixing with some Dryads as well, which can do a little bit more of the damage. Don't know how Dryads do up against Saurus, but we're interesting to see. They will decimate Skinks very, very quickly. We then have 5 units of the Glade Guard. Looks like they've mixed in. Some are Starfire Shafts and some are Hagbane. So we got a nice mixture of poison and extra damage here. 5 of those guys in a nice gun line here. We then have Eternal Guard mixed in with some War Dancers. Yes! I love the War Dancers. They're one of my favourite looking characters. Or units in general. Really cool attack animations. And, you know, Shadow Dance of Loic means they get some really cool different spins and twirls. Anti-large, relatively quick as well for foot troops. So they can, you know, bounce around quite quickly. Deal with big monsters and all that nasty stuff. And more Eternal Guard in the back as well. So yeah, looks pretty good overall. What lord does he have? So we've got an Ancient Tree Man coming in. That's pretty good fun. Coming in with Shield of Thorns and Earthblood, and looking absolutely glorious as always. The Roars, Victorious, and Sisters of Thorn as well, hiding down low in the trees. And on the other flank, it looks like we have more Sisters of Thorn hiding down in the trees. So this is going to be some good fun. This is also a free-for-all map. Jesus, this map. I love it. I love it. Let's get cracking. His secret is revealed. We will push forward into glory. He shames me for the Marathi crash. I'm just saying, War Dancers, they're a different breed, man. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. There's different rules, man. I rule this channel. Like I can make the rules, man. I am the Matrix. Looks like some early shots. Attempted to hit the Ancient Tree Man, but the blobby terrain kind of helping protect him for a little bit longer here. So Sisters Fawn are going to slowly, oh gosh, jump down the cliff there. Going to be darting around the sides as well. Going to be Shield of Thorns overall, really nice buffs, and they got some decent debuffs as well. But they're hiding into the shadows for now. Unfortunately, the terrain is making it really difficult for this Ancient Tree Man to be hit here by the Solar Engine, and he's starting to juke back and forth. Now, the Glade Guard are going to do pretty good work, to be honest, at tearing apart most of this army, as long as the Chameleon Skinks don't get on them too much. Looks like early shots are aimed at the Solar Engine himself. So these guys, of course, are no way watchers. Okay, they're not going to do huge burst damage, but they do consistent damage throughout the battle and much cheaper, hence the huge amount of them that you're allowed to have. Chameleon Skinks get some return fire though. These Eternal Guard need to just push up and push these guys away, but it looks like the damage back is pretty huge here. They're still on having to fall back as well. There can always be some Apotheosis help. as the Sisters of Thorn do start to swarm round here. So the Chameleon Skinks getting pushed out wide by good Eternal Guard and Dryad pressure here. And then in come the Sisters of Thorn for a nice rear attack. This is really fantastic play coming in by Pacta. Hunting these guys down and instantly shattering, or breaking these guys at least. They're going to hunt them off the field as well. Really good early pressure coming in by the forces of the Wood Elves. And look at the beautiful fire coming. Glade Guards, one of those units I wish we saw more of. Many more people kind of go, you know, Weight Watcher spam and that kind of stuff, which is more expected. And Source Warriors trying to hold the front liners. In come the cohort of Coatl, but these guys are going to get absolutely mulched now as they start to get focus fired. And Eternal Guard as well, trying to pop in. A-move, trying to duck and dodge. You can see him kind of darting diagonally across the battlefield in an attempt to hop on top of the Ancient Tree Man. But these guys are taking an absolute pounding here. So they might even try and push through on top of these Glade Guard, but there's not enough kind of gaps and avenues for him to really push through. These guys desperately trying to get in here. Curse is slowing them down, and that's what makes the Sister Thorn so good, is their passive ability, or not passive abilities, but their activated abilities. Slowing these guys down, protecting that back line, and in comes the War Dancers as well. Popping an Earthblood on these guys, really to tear apart these monstrous creatures, doing some fantastic job. Look how quickly these guys get decimated, down to just 820 health. Only 8 models left, and those guys are completely shattered. Looks like the Column Riders attempted a similar situation, got pinned in by Eternal Guard, and the focus fire is doing huge work here by Pacta. The map certainly favouring, I think, the Wood Elf formation. It makes it very narrow overall, and there's not too many places to push through, but it looks like Skink Cohorts are trying to find a way through the line. A fat banishment does come down, some good damage here to Eternal Guard and War Dancers overall. Two of the old ones trying to keep Slann protected as much as possible, and he does rotate around and fend off some Sisters of Thorn as well. But I think this is a very dominant so far by the Wood Elves here. Legion of Shaquar, though, are slowly forcing their way towards this Ancient Tree Man into the back line, but this is so much firepower to deal with here. Looks like we are getting a Earthblood coming down once again on some Eternal Guard. And did the Dryas get caught there as well? They did indeed. Maybe keeping those guys healed up, and the back line relatively secure. One or two scares, of course, the Crossguard pushing through, and Skinks and so forth. Legion of Shaquar also trying to pop into the back line. So much value is here, but he's certainly got the ability to kite here. Elves much faster than their lizard rivals here. Slann Mage Priest as well is struggling a bit. Popped Cold Blooded to keep him active, but 1,800 health isn't too much. Cold One Spears do manage to catch some Spear Sisters of Thorn here, so really good play over by A-Move, fighting to the death here, but he has certainly got the back up against the cliff here, and as we can see, the Slann Mage Priest is going down. So this, I think, is going to be a game for the Wood Elves. He just couldn't break through the line. Really nice map control, basically, by the Sisters of Thorn around the flanks, slowing down the troops which did bake into the back line, allowing him to protect the Glade Guard, and they really got their value here. Not massive kills across the board, 11, 7, 3, and 4, but they did the HP damage, and that's what really caused the game here. It's a great game overall. There goes Sisters of Gold. There goes how much gold? So much. So much. This is why I use debug. I haven't used it so far because I know there can be problems with it, but I might look into it at some point. But yeah, really fun build overall, but Pax, you don't get to see these units too often. And with the protection of the Sisters of Thorn, that really helped quite a lot. This would have been an easy win if map wasn't so broken. True, but still. I don't know. Pact feels strongly though. GG, well played. Almighty King Pacta. I think it would have been even. It is. So, well, congratulations to Pacta first and foremost. He does end the stream as king. And also, well done to A-Move for getting the longest win streak. So, those are the 2 titles of the week. So, let's go through. Let's update this. So, A-Move got stuck on the 5 wins there. Still very impressive. And Pacta getting the win and becoming king at the death. So, I hope you guys did enjoy. I will stick around for a little bit. Just chat with Pacta. Make sure he's all good. But thank you for coming in and chilling out with us. If you do enjoy, feel free to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask now. Thanks for the game stream. No worries, bro. No worries, bro. Thanks for playing. And next time, we will get you on earlier. Hopefully. Hopefully, if he can make it. Massive shout out, of course, to A-Move, Noob for Life, Consul Rome, Undertaker, Stormrunner, Darth Pendragon, and Pacta for all taking part, as well as everyone else who was on the waiting list, like Captellis and stuff, for being good backups. And first and foremost, as well, massive shout out to all you guys in chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. Pacta liked the map after all. It seemed to work. Typical A move, wins 5 games, loses 1 and gets disappointed. He's a very good player, and the good players do tend to be quite competitive, so I understand, the frustration it does happen. Hail King! It's all Hail King Pacta. And right at the death here, let's just chuck this up one more time, just so you guys can see. If I get that to cover the screen there. Oh no. Oh no, I don't want to move that. Yeah. Let me move you. I have so many screens like hidden underneath stuff. It does tangle it. So boom, there we go. So Death Before Dishonor will return next week with Season 4, 4:30 p.m. British Summer Time. And to join, simply look in the description down below. There is a link to challenge, and it's unlimited entries. The semi-finals and finals will be cast. So hopefully I'll see a few of you guys there. Really good fun overall. And yeah, once again, any questions, feel free to ask us. Chill for like 1 or 2 minutes, but I'm quite hungry, so I'm going to go cook a pizza or something nice and fun. Pizza's like my streaming food. It's quick and easy. I can do it straight after and just kind of munch on food. GG's to the old kings and the new, indeed. I think it could have been quite even on a normal map, indeed. I think you still probably had enough to protect your backline. I loved the Sisters of Form play Pacta, using them to slow down any troops that get into your backline. I feel like they're one of those troops which can certainly do some decent work overall. And they can be good at harassing as well. What do you mean normal map? This is a normal map. Alright guys, well it looks like that's it for us. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I will see you next time. We'll be streaming tomorrow, same time, 6:30 p.m. British Summer Time. And I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. Maybe a best of 5 between 2 players, maybe me playing against a few people. Who knows? But anyway guys, peace. And as always, stay awesome.